I was a member of the Columbia Record and Tape Club. What about you guys? How do you think I got that Genesis cassette? What's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. It's been a little bit of a tight schedule on Thursdays. Here we are. Thursday cheese analysis stream. Thank you. Thursday analysis subscriber stream. Show your appreciation by donating to support the streamer. Show of appreciation by analyzing games sent from subscribers. Submit your games to Sparklehorse on lichess.org. Start a hype train today. Just 1 penny for 22 shows. Happy Thursday. Been a long day for me. Thursdays are always long. What are we doing? Chess analysis stream. I have games from... Let me see. Jim. Arsenal fan. Asterbait. Mr. Coffee. Lakey. Bjock. Zen Chess. Mule Skinner. Where are these guys? Oh man, I can never remember Lakey's name. Does anybody know Lakey's name? Okay, Sumahair. Sumahair is on. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, whatever that is. I'm gonna get me a beer. It's been a long day. And this is usually a long stream. Leaf K? It's not Leaf K, is it? It has some numbers in it or something. Asterbate. Doesn't his screen name have some numbers in it? Can't read my own writing. Oh, Sumahair's in there. Okay, so Zen. How come I didn't get a message from Zen Chess? How come I didn't put Zen Chess game in there? It's an over-the-board tourney game. Oh yeah, he told me about this. It's the second game he won, but I can't put it in the stream. Okay. Yeah, it's a separate study from Zen Chess and Lakey, Mule Skinner, and... Okay, Lakey and Mule Skinner. What about Lakey? Leaf, Lakey, Lakey, Leaf, Lakey. Lakey F? Oh, there it is. Alright. Hey, look, here's the game. Thanks, Asterbait. Man, I am feeling it tonight. Whoa, he has a 0 mistakes, 0 blunders, 3 inaccuracy. Damn, dude. It's like master game. Ooh, 3 streams tomorrow. Great idea. I was thinking of making it just 1. I have fatigue. Working too much. Alright. What's up? Ooh, nice. Alright, so I've got Jim, Richard, Asterbait, Mr. Coffee, that's 4. Sumahair and Lakey are 5 and 6. And Zen Chess and Mule Skinner are 7 and 8. So I've got... Yeah, well, in the tournament I'm definitely going to do tomorrow night. If I'm extremely tired and I can't wake up, I won't do a morning stream. But if I have nothing better to do, I'll continue with our normal morning stream tomorrow morning. I begin to hate Blitz, though. Yeah, I should send a reminder. Did I send a message today about the tournament tomorrow? Let me do that now. Let me just send the message now while we're thinking about it. Pawn and Horses Club tournament tomorrow night. I've got Ponda and Sloth Rapid. 15 plus 5, 5 round Rapid. Pyrat, Acerbate, Mr. Coffee, Pilots, Sumahair, and Sparkle Horse. 6 players thus far. I'm going to advertise this in another message today. It's 3 days of advertising. Damn it. Damn it! Oh, man, I cannot click on that. It's killing me. Here. Copy. Now, message. Seems like I've got a lot of lag. Also getting allergies. It seems like I've got incredible lag. Dear Ponda and Sloth members, we have a new character named Sloth. Dear Ponda and Sloth members, Rapid special tournament event tomorrow night, Friday at 6:45 CEST. Alright. I don't know. Not very well grammatically edited. I use a lot of caps. Alright. It's like when I have Spider at Halloween, we have the Sloth. Sloth is our new mascot for slow chess. Pandas are pretty slow too. Anyway. Join us. Bang. And let's just put the stream URL. I've got incredible. My computer is really slow. Jeez. What is it doing? We're going to do some game analysis tonight. We got 8 games. That seems like enough. Maybe one more. I'm going to do Bax 9. I'm tired tonight. I'm always tired. But tonight I'm especially tired. Been a long day. But I'm going to do at least 9 games with you guys. Alright. Wasn't Chunk, yeah. That sounds familiar. While we're talking about like 80s music, we might as well talk about 80s movies. I remember watching something like that. I saw that at a friend's house once. Oh, I'm looking at Someone on Sound. Why am I... Oh, that's his donation. Alright. Anyways, back to where we were. Oh, speaking of donations... Guys, please start a hype train. We got a hype train conductor in the house, Mr. Coffee. The last of the hype train conductors. Are we horses or sloths? Well, sloths. In honor of like the fact that I'm playing more rapid and classical, or trying to do so, sloth has become an honorary member. But we're not changing over. I mean, I'm a horse. That's a Ponda, and we have a sloth. Choo Choo Train 101. Botvinnik tried to take the mystery out of chess, always relating it to situations in ordinary life. He used to call chess a typical inexact problem, similar to those which people are always having to solve in everyday life. Alright, that's my best Kasparov quote. Thank you, Mr. Coffee, 101 bits. Choo choo. Let's get the hype train started. Boom. That's the Pawn and Sloth Rabbit. I want to go back to analysis stream. Pawn and Sloth Rabbit is tomorrow night. Alright, learn, study. What's up, Arsenal? Learn, study. Yeah, Arsenal, I'm trying to experiment a little bit with the time controls. The 30 is a little long. I thought that was too long. We'll try 15 plus 5. I want to see how long it takes. I was even thinking of doing like 6 rounds, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see it with 5 how it goes. My studies would be good. The defending champ. Yeah, he won on Tuesday. Nice performance by Sumahara, defending champ. But this is a little longer. It's 15 plus 5. Like, Tuesday was 10 plus 5, right? I don't understand. Why am I on this game first? Okay, we're on game 1. I need some water. Guys, I'm going to drink some water. Hurry up! The hype train. Mr. Coffee tried to activate it. We don't have enough donors. Who was it? Was it on Poker Stars? Where was somebody called Orgasm Donor? That's just something that popped in my head. We didn't have enough donors. I can't remember. Was it a chess handle or a poker account? Somebody was named Orgasm Donor. Like organ donor. But speaking of donations, HTFP just subscribed to Tier 1. That counts as a donation. We've got 101 bits, a subscription. So if you haven't subscribed recently, do so. It counts for the hype train. And we don't want your donation, Mr. Coffee. That's alright. Alright. We don't want... Alright. I'm trying to focus my energies here. My brain needs beer. My brain needs beer. It's been a long day. Thank you, HTFP, for the donation. What did I just do? I just did something crazy. I hit something. Ooh, I'm like permanent. Oh my god. I'm in permanent oh my god mode. How do I turn off scroll button? I think I must have hit something on the side of the mouse. Shit. I hit perma scroll. That's never happened before. I don't know what button I pressed. Did I? Oh, is it just the scroll button? I never use that except like occasionally in some kind of games. I never just like randomly press the scroll button. I've had to press it in games, but never like while I was streaming. That's funny. That's never happened before. That was annoying. Press it again. No, I'm good. Alright. We're going to do Zivkovic versus Jim. Zivkovic. Guys, quickly donate and buy your subscriptions to contribute to the hype train that's not happening. Alright. Jim is playing black here. I hope you're having a nice day. No popular TV discussions today, Dr. Trip Chance. We're going to keep it serious. That always gets people on edge. I had an argument. We're always getting in trouble here with people, right? Getting irritated, banning people. I had a dispute in my poker game the other night, and this guy told me I should take like a Xanax. It's like, dude, you should calm down. But sometimes, yeah, we get into really, really hot conversations, and I don't want to go with the popular TV topics, because that's when it really gets heated. E4 C6, D4 D5. I guess Karajewski just subscribed with Prime, so we're close to a hype train. But I feel like those donations were too spaced out. Maybe not. I think another donation or two, and we'll see. Mr. Coffee with another 100. My response would have been like kind of to agree with him. I could use one. But he was like just as as angry as me, you know? I was kind of like, you need a Xanax, too. He was actually more upset than me, and he's like telling me I need a Xanax. Maybe I just look more upset. I don't know how. I can't look at myself, so maybe I looked worse than I felt, but it was ridiculous. They're just really petty things, you know? But I had two petty issues that like compounded on each other that got me upset. Lost my composure for a very brief period. Nothing extreme though. You know, I didn't really like totally lose my composure. But enough that I was suggested that I should have a Xanax. I'm just kidding, HTFP. Yeah, that's the other thing. And it's really worse in Hungarian. Like, whenever I'm facetious or sarcastic, Hungarians don't get sarcasm at all. I mean, they take everything I say, like, literally. So that's gotten me in trouble on more than one occasion, you know. You're not supposed to use sarcasm in Hungarian, apparently. Or no one... And then a lot of things I say are taken out of context. It's really easy when you're speaking, like, a second language that you're not that proficient is. You're not that proficient in it for people to misunderstand you. I've had this many times. I would never get in like disputes if I was speaking in English. Well, not over such silly things. Yeah, they're hard to convey culturally. They're like I think everything I say is not meant to be ironic. Right, King Crusher. Alright, so anyway, this is Zivkovic. Right, I think the British have a good feel for irony. So I'm trying to use my beer Xanax to calm down here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a little fatigued today. Knight f3, e6, bishop e2. I feel like I'm doing a video. I don't have to commentate on everything. I mean, this is a standard position. I like knight e7. But it's interesting. I don't know why, you know, I like knight e7 better. I used to play c5. I know that Arsenal fan also fond a lot of... Well, most people are playing the advanced Caro-Kann lately. So getting back to chess, I've felt like look at the winning percentage. The percentages are best for knight e7. Can you guys see that? Just barely. So all the percentages in the charts here are best for knight e7. Theoretically, white has 32 win to 20% win for black. You know, c5 is the oldest move. And I don't think it's really quite as good. But knight d7, I don't understand really why, you know, how do you choose between like knight d7 and knight e7? From my perspective, I'd like to get that knight to c6. I guess the idea is that the other knight goes to c6 in some variations there. Specifics of this move order I don't really understand, to be perfectly honest. But I'm interested because this is the move I've never played knight d7 personally. Okay, castle. And now he just transposes. So it really had... So what's the freaking difference? There literally is no difference then. I mean, if you're playing... Are you avoiding something here by playing knight d7 rather than knight e7? Well, I'd like to get a knight to c6 HTFP, but that doesn't always happen. You know, I don't know. Is there really a difference? I don't really fully understand. I'm not really a Caro-Kann player. I just play one in the movies. So castles, knight e7, and now I played knight on bd2. I've definitely faced knight h4. We had a game like this. Masturbate. I have Masturbate as the player setting. Let me put myself back. Alright. Masturbate as black. Masturbate as white. Activate. No games. Wow. So no one's played Knight H4 against me originally. So I've got a bunch of games in this position, personally. I have 7 here. It's early to play Knight H4. So I faced Knight on BD2, Bishop E3, C4. I lost the 1 game to Mickey. Hasn't been around. Yeah, well, Bishop G7. Right. No, now you're raising an interesting question. If you play Knight E7, is there a chance you get pinned by, like, Bishop G5? Laluo versus Sparkle Horse from 2018. Now that's an old game. Someone actually played it against me. Probably Queen B6 isn't even the best move. Well, it's hard to say. We'd have to run the engine overnight or something to be convinced, but it starts to look at Queen B6 naturally. I just try to avoid playing Queen B6 at all times. I hate taking this kind of pawn. But it's possible in that particular position. It's sound. It's valid. Yeah, and Astrobate. The other Astrobate. Yeah. No, H6 is refuting the whole idea. Yeah, I agree, Arsenal. It's just a stupid idea. No, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to play Bishop G5 here. No, it's fine. H6 is fine, too. Everything's good. Knight D7, H6. It's not even relevant. I played Knight D7 once against Mr. Slowhand. Strangely. Alright. So, Castle, Knight D7, Knight on BD2. And I've played Bishop G6 3 times. Against 3 different players. That game I lost to Mickey was a simul game, and it was ugly. I got pretty destroyed. So let's see the main master database. By the way, this is Jim's game playing black against an FM. Yeah, Bishop G4 is playable. But I think it doesn't make much sense, Arsenal. Bishop G4 doesn't really make sense when white has the other knight on D2. I think it's better when there's no, like, replacement knight, you know? You don't want to just, like, give up your bishop for a random knight. At least you want to, like, inconvenience him somehow. Drawing one of his pieces out to F3. Yeah, I mean, you could play it, obviously. It's not unplayable. It's probably been played. Yeah, there's, like, 6 games. But I think after knight on BD2 in particular. Like, I wouldn't be surprised after bishop E3 if it's a move. Yeah, it's been played 12 times against bishop E3. And the best move for white is the same idea, knight on BD2. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're digging into the opening here a little bit. Okay, knight on BD2. Number 1 move is H6. And I hate knight C8. That's the Prohashka Spielman defense. Honestly, there's nothing I hate more than, like, moving that knight to C8. You gotta be really hardcore Caro Kann player. Number 5. Yeah, black can play G5 after H6, Arsenal. Well, I mean, a lot of times when they play H6, they go with G5. Right? Although I personally don't like it. This is a freaking variation. I think there's a Caruana game, isn't there? Like, I did a game a couple of years ago on Chess Lecture, Analyzed with White, where Caruana had a game with Nair. I mean, G5 seems wrong. You, like, weaken the king side, you're going to get conked with F4. So is the Caruana Nair in here? Yeah. 2016. I don't like, personally, this variation, but it's complicated, and you know, I guess it's popular for that reason. Caruana, he won because he was Caruana, but he didn't have a good position against Nair. I didn't like the way the opening went. G5 feels fundamentally against principles. White has a space advantage on the king side with e5, so we're gonna like attack him over there. And a lot of times black plays like queen c7 and tries to like castle queen side or something crazy. I'm not gonna get caught playing g6. I mean g5 or g6 for that matter. G6 is even worse. So c5 here from Jim. Okay, this is probably like a reasonable move, I guess. A lot of weak players will do stupid stuff like c3. Is rook g8 theory as well? Phew, man. Rook g8. You definitely don't need a Xanax if you play rook g8. That's awesome. We'll get you a telegraph office instead. I love rook g8. Subtle. Why don't you just like announce what you're gonna do? No, I mean h6 looks like it could just be, you know, h6 is like, well, I'm just giving my bishop a retreat square. You're not necessarily playing g5. But if you play rook g8, you're really blatantly telling the guy you're gonna play g5. Although, you know, it still might be good. Clearly, he can do knight h4 with or without stuttering repeatedly. This might be a critical question, because you definitely don't want to play bishop g6 if you played rook g8, right? But I mean, your white squares are really weak. If you play g5 here, you're losing the white square bishop, and he's got this sort of slicer here. There's no, you know, once the white squares are gone, there's no getting them back. I'm a little concerned about that. They might be gone forever. Nice knowing you, white squares. You know, who knows? Maybe you can get something going here. Well, it is coffee house, not without a question. But it, you know, it's not to say that it's not plausible. But I mean, the other suggestion of what? Knight h4, g5, knight f5? With the attack on d4 may be playable. Well, that's what we're kind of looking at. But like attack on d4, like what attack on d4? This attack on d4? White squares. It's the white squares that I'm concerned about. Maybe just knight f3. There you're legit walking into... But there you're legit walking into g4, right? My son is like mastering English slang now at age 11. He just says stuff like that. He started to say legit. You're legit threatening h5. Sloth is a cartoon character. Legit is a legit word. Anyways, let's go back to the game. So c5, interesting question. c4 is number one move. Kablam. We'll start talking like a gangbanger. Yeah, I mean, the problem with c5 is that, yeah, he can play c4, and that's why I hate people who play c3. Like, what are they doing? The whole point is to play c4 and blow up black center at some point. So you don't want to play c3, or you waste the tempo on the c4. c3 is just lame. So this guy's move is okay, I guess. But, I mean, what about c4? It's either c4 or take. The problem with Jim's move is that it opens the position kind of early while our king is still in the center. That's really the danger here. So I don't like c5. I don't like h6. I don't like knight c8. So we have a problem. So what does Sladgy play in this position? If I don't like h6, I don't like knight c8, and I don't like c5, I'm running out of moves. I don't like bishop g4 because of the knight on d2. So the only move left is bishop g6, and that's probably what I've played here, right? Bishop g6 is the only move left. You can play knight g6 apparently. Oh. No, there's also knight g6. I don't like bishop g4. a6 does nothing. Yeah, it pretty much seems like bishop g6. Agnes Karajuski's just gifted 2 tier 1 subs to the community. Make Pog Champs great again. And touch me like praise. Touch me, I'm sick. Great punk song. But anyway, alright. We gotta think about what's the best move here. Computer says h6. See, that's why all the grandmasters, they just do whatever the computer says. Like, well, the engine said h6, so I'll just play that. But c5, number 1, knight g6. So what does Sladgy play? See, every time, bishop g6. My move is not in the top 4. See, here I faced knight h4. This is how I lost against Miki. And I almost lost to move 11. This knight h4 is, for lack of a better word, it's knight h4 now. Is legit. Thanks to Agnes Karajuski for the gift subs. You don't like knight h4. Yeah, I don't like it for me. No, watch what happens. Knight f5. Someone played knight takes f5 against me in a similar position. It's weird. There was something recently. Now, I had a game like recently where someone took on f5 in a similar position, but that's not the normal idea. Take, knight f3. No, this is very complex. Look, there's tons of games. Arsenal. Nepomniachtchi. Nothing recent, it looks like. This isn't really trending right now. You prefer black? I don't know, man. I just don't have good results with the Caro-Kann. I don't know why I play it. I'm afraid to play it. I'm terrified to play it in a long game. I would just lose. c5. Okay, d takes c5. So this is kind of a rare move. And now knight takes c5. But yeah, I think Jim doesn't know the theory that well. Does he usually play the Caro-Kann? This is like what HTFP was talking about. A classic maneuver. That's why we put our knight on d7, so our other knight can come over here to c6. But the problem is the hammer blow, you know, with the c4 at some point. Apparently black is okay. Alright, let's see what happened. So knight takes c5, c3. Transposing to Karyakin Anand 2017. But c3 looks really lame. I guess this is a simul. I guess this was a simul game that Jim played in. Hassinger's knight d4 is definitely a dynamic move. a sort of improved knight h4, you might say. White just kind of did nothing. And now Jim played queen b6. Not a move I really like. Queen b6 is a very dangerous self-pin. That seems crazy. No, I understand, Arsenal, you don't like the h-file. But Magnus wins games like that in the London where he grabs people's like light-scored bishop, and then slowly they play g3 and h4. If you look at that closer, I think you'll come to realize that it's actually better for white. But it's kind of like, you got to be very precise. Queen b6 is weird. Yeah, he just like pins himself with bishop e3. So why play that? We got to get developed though. I guess queen c7. Or just move our bishop, you know. The truth is maybe black should just play bishop e7. Or maybe... we have to get our king out of the center, man. Honestly, I was looking at knight e4, but it might get trapped there. It's funny, Felix Levin played knight d7. Which looks slow. You would think like white would sack a pawn here, Asterbait style. That move seems very slow. The self-pin doesn't seem right. Self-pin bad. Self-pin not good. This is crazy. He takes another pawn. I mean, I don't know. What are you supposed to play here? You're practically lost. This is like to come back and defend, but I mean, white has bishop e5 check at some point. I would assume white has a way to take advantage of this. What about like a4? I mean, a4 looks really dangerous to me. I guess you can take on b3. You'd say c5 is totally sound. Well, it's not a question of c5. It's a question of what he did after that. You know, it can't be right to play like queen b6 here and pin yourself. That's definitely just not a good move. But maybe this is even a mistake. I mean, doesn't he have like, I can't play a4. What about something other? Bishop takes c5? No. Knight d4. Yeah, c4 is an idea. I guess the guy's try is pretty good. This looks really dangerous, taking another pawn, giving white f4, f5, or a4, a5. And Jim has no time. The guy just doesn't give him much time in the simul. Take, and now b4. I mean, now we're just like grabbing the pawn. Clearly white has compensation. I don't like queen d6. Why not c7? Given the choice between the two moves, it seems like queen d6 gives him bishop c5 with tempo in some positions. This seems safer. I mean, I don't know, but it looks like white has clear compensation. There's no question about that. I think the question is white better? Well, he's never going to castle anyway, right? White's going to play f4 and like take on g7. I'm not sure this move really helps. I'm not sure bishop e5 check like matters. I guess king f8 is out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is the way that white should go, honestly. Let's look at this with the engine. That's the line the engine chooses, too. But I'm not sure. That's the computer line. It's interesting. I think I would have played the same move like Jim. Intuitively, knight c6. But at least here he has some practical counterplay. Although his king is never going to be... It's never going to be safe. Well, I think bishop e5 check is to just force the knight back, you know, so he wins the pawn. So this king is never safe. No matter where you go, you're never going to be safe. No, it's pretty bad. Do we have something somewhere? Some kind of rook sack? What's up, Move 11? I'm waiting for some kind of Tal like sacrifice, you know, like the Fischer Tal or Tal Fischer Tal game. He had like a draw with a rook sack. Is there some kind of miracle for black somewhere? See, that's why the queen should have been on c7 in the first place. Do we have... Where's cheese mate, by the way? Cheesy submission. Another cheese submission. Submissive cheese. Yeah, let's lose the tempo with queen d6. So here Jim played knight e5. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's got to get something going here quickly. Well, maybe now it's like still not completely lost. I thought his king was toast over here, you know? The question is, like, he never has a way to generate any counterplay whatsoever. It's so crazy. You think like with his queen and his bishop on e4 and rook on g8 and the other rook, there'd be some way he could theoretically generate some kind of tactical threat, but there's literally nothing. That's really upsetting. Just nothing. Bishop e4 is nothing. Knight e5. The guy just eats his pawn. Kind of greedy, no? Do we have a tile-like sacrifice somewhere? I feel like we've got it somewhere. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something here. Jim didn't present any kind of, you know, hints or messages or, you know, notes about this game. Why he submitted the game, etc. But you get the feeling like there might be something here. I mean, b6 doesn't work, right? Trapping the bishop. Because of bishop a6 check. But bishop a7 is really greedy. Does anybody see anything? Bishop f5, bishop h3 kind of slow. I want to get a rook sack. I'm looking at this. You know, can we do some kind of sack? I mean, this is the obvious move. There's just nothing here. There's a lot of almost. It almost works here. Like, I don't know if I would have the courage to play bishop takes a7 with white. I probably would have played king h1 or something. Like, what's the engine say? Wow. White's not even, like, winning. Please nobody, like, look at their engine and make a suggestion. B6 weakens the A7. B6, bishop A6 check, king D7. Oh, you have king B8. Okay. B6, I missed that. Oh, no, I was thinking after bishop A7. Bishop A7, B6, bishop A6 check, king here. You know, the bishop's trapped. But white has, like, queen here check. Do we have a tactic? Not really. You know, there's some crazy stuff going on. Like, that bishop's trapped. We're threatening bishop E4 now for real. Some positions. It's not clear how that bishop gets out. I guess bishop takes B6 is how. But then we really have tactics, right? I mean, this looks pretty serious. There's some crazy stuff that could happen here. There's no way I play bishop takes A7. The chimp played H5. That doesn't really seem like enough. So nobody sees anything. I didn't check the engine and I don't see it, but it feels like B6 might work. Okay, B6 he has to check. We have to play king D7. Bishop B5 check. We're winning a piece. No, there's this. Oh, so this doesn't really work, right? Bishop takes B6. It works. We get 2 for 1. Okay, that works. So bishop B5 check, and then we take here. This is a crazy, excuse my expression, ass position. King D6. This hanging. But white would have various moves here, obviously. F4, rook E1. B6 doesn't feel right either. So where's the threat? Lasses. We'll ask Arsenal if there's any lasses around. The lasses. Lassies. Not enough lassies these days in the average chess stream. Alright. Sadly. Bishop takes A7. I want to know, Move 11, thank you for gifting a gift sub to Peapod. Why isn't there anything here for white? For black, that is. Oh my god, no. Are you serious? Knight F3 check? I hope I found it without using the engine. You have this, don't you? Oh, this is so sick, dude. You guys didn't see it? Hype train is coming. I was inspired. Always threaten mate in 1. That's clearly the idea in this position. It's basic tactic training, like always look at the forcing moves first. Cooking Rooks, thank you. I found it without the help of the engine. I knew that there had to be a reason like Jim submitted this game. And I know that this bishop A7 ain't right. There are no way in hell I'm playing bishop takes A7. Even like Ivanchuk would think for 10 minutes before he played that. But I mean, this is crazy. Queen F3. Is there a problem with this line though? No. You got to take with the queen, bishop E4. He's got to sack his queen. What does he get for the queen? As a bonus, the bishop on A7 is going to get trapped soon. And meanwhile, White's got to lose. He's got to sack his queen. And we're probably close to threatening rook takes G2 check and queen F4. Close. I guess bishop E3. Something like that. What's going on here? It's only -4. Okay, so bishop A7 loses to knight F3, right? It's such a beautiful move. I found it! That's why I'm 25.99 in tactics. Half ghoul. No, we're not doing puzzles, believe it or not. This is an actual game. Man, this is like the point of Jim's submission. I think he missed knight f3 check. Whew. h5, bishop d4. And then bishop e4 and f3. The white wins on time. Man, tough game. It took me like 10 minutes to find knight f3. But I will say one thing. I intuitively felt there was something there to the point where I wouldn't stop looking at the position for 10 minutes. And eventually I found it. If there's enough time from the move 11. Who is Sloth? Sloth you will see. But he doesn't play knight c8 in the Caro-Kann. Okay? That doesn't fly on my stream, Schieberspieler. Wherever you are. Alright. Open. Here. Study. Alright, that's the last game. No more submissions unless you're going to bribe me with serious donations. Oh shit, he already submitted it? Are you serious? Oh, it's a double. We have a double. Nice. That'll be great. I only have to analyze it once and I get credit for 2. We can do double dueling analysis from both colors. Sides. Both colors sides. Bribes are welcome. Alright, Jim. Stokes Carter. The thing that I don't understand about hyphenated names is like, how does it work if you're Dennis Stokes Carter and you married someone else who's like, you know, Smith Zivkovich, and then it keeps like, you know, it just keeps like increasing. Like pretty soon you'll be Stokes Carter, Smith Zivkovich. It just goes on indefinitely. Like you have like 17 names, or how do you decide like where it gets cut off or not, you know? The problem with hyphenated names. Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, you know, there's a reason why that doesn't work. All right. This is Richard Smith with black against. Right. This is an over-the-board game by some guy named Richard Smith. Oh, I noticed... Wait. Smith is the #1 name in England, right? Did you see that? I saw a map online somewhere with the most common name in each country. In Hungary, I think it's Horváth. In England, it's Smith. I don't remember what the most common like family name in the United States is. Probably Jones or something. I have no idea. But Richard Smith, imagine that. All right. E4, E5. No, UK was Smith, and I'm not sure about the US. Knight F3, Knight C6. Bishop C4, Knight F6, D3. Bishop C5, castles. Don't ask me what the best move is here. D6 is okay. I like the old school A6. But actually, you know, that's against C3. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the best move is objectively. Is it not as accurate to do A6 if white hasn't played C3? Yeah, probably. I mean, white can still turn it into like a Vienna style thing. I don't know. You know, if he doesn't play C3, is A6 less good for some reason than it would be in a classical Joko or Italian? Castles is fine. See, now I mean, you can play a6 and transpose to the oldest variation in the world. The first thing in 500 Master Games of Chess by Tartakover, of course, is the Italian game. This is really like, not because of Greco or something, but I mean, I imagine it is kind of like the oldest opening in a way. Did Greco analyze the Italian game, by the way? I never really studied Greco's works. Have you guys? Did he do analysis on Italian? Is that why it's called, like, the Italian? I probably had this, like, random knowledge influencing my thoughts somewhere, but I'm not an expert in chess history. I know a fair amount, but just some people are chess historians. Anyway, your understanding is that the most common Hungarian surnames are names for other countries. Yeah, Horvat is number one. Yeah, Horvat means Croatian in Hungarian, which is weird. It's Horvat Ország, which means country of Horvats. Another common name is Lengyel, which means Poland or Polish here. Alright, so d6, Magyar is Hungarian. c3, bishop e6. So this bishop can get hunted down by like a knight to c4, but I wouldn't really worry about it. That's Arsenal's. Arsenal doesn't like knight h4 in the Caro-Kann. He probably doesn't like knight h4 in the Caro-Kann. He probably doesn't like knight a4 here. So we probably got the word from the Turks. A lot of Hungarian words were influenced by the Turkish occupation. I mean, Hungarian is basically a language that's been, kind of like influenced over time by so many foreign influences. A lot of the words are similar to Turkish. There is some influence from everywhere. b4. I don't love b4. Italian game is the oldest recorded chess openings. Okay, so it was developed by Damiano and Polerio, and later by Greco. So Greco was actually later? Really? Oh, that's interesting. But I think I'm generally right. Alright, b4. Yeah, I hate b4. Astrobate's a big fan of b4 in the Italian game. It has a crappy score. Look at b4's score here. Cooking Rooks, I didn't even properly thank you for your donation earlier. We were so carried away. 222 bits and an earlier donation. Cooking Rooks with the gift sub, 2,444 bits this week alone. Glad you could join us for a stream, Sire. We go by Sire. It's my meme name. I hate when people call me sir. Call me Sire. Use the hot dogs, like Mr. Coffee. Yeah, I don't like b4. So he's supposed to develop his freaking pieces, right? Any of the above. Bishop e3 is the main move. I mean, that gives us this. So Arsenal here played, wow, number 2 move. Survey says Family Feud. We should do like chess Family Feud. Survey says 97. Second most popular answer. I would have thought it was early. We're only gonna play a5 if necessary, I guess. You could even play a6. I guess I would castle, personally. I hate h6. I hate just unnecessary weakening pawn moves. Like b4 is an unnecessary weakening pawn move. h6 is an unnecessary weakening pawn move. Knight e7, a4 another Unnecessary weakening. Pawn move. So here my instinct tells me a5, but I don't know. Right. No, I mean, knight e7 is normal, HTFP. It's just, really radically early to do it before even castling. Yes, we're going to play knight g6 to hold up the strong point on e5. It's straight out of Compton. It's straight out of 500 Master Games of Chess, which I highly recommend, even now. Tartakover and his, if you get stuck on a desert island, it's the best chess book. So, c6 from Arsenal. He's basically playing kind of like, he's white in the Italian. But this is interesting. Because he hasn't moved his A pawn, he can do this. So by not playing A5 or A6, you have less weaknesses to play C6 instead, essentially. It's interesting. I would have probably played A5. It just feels kind of resolute. A6 gives white, a little extra space with that A5. Here's Yababa versus Grishuk. But Grishuk ain't bad. But I completely, I think all of these moves are playable. Wait now plays knight on BD2. Developing. That's overrated. And now A5, okay. Right. Don't forget, this is an over-the-board game. Keeping the pawn on A7 could protect the bishop when the B file opens for white. Yeah, maybe, but it's probably not a major consideration. Here white played D4 in one game. I think that's white's biggest idea in the quiet Italian. It's ironic because you're playing D3, right? The entire system, it's funny. The entire system is basically playing D3 on move 4, and the biggest single idea in this opening is playing D4 later. If you look at anybody, Carlsen, Caruana, all the top players who play this opening, it always hinges Karyakin. Sorry, I got a little choked up there. Always get stuck in my throat, but the idea is to play D4 in 2 steps, right? The question is when you play it, when it's most effective. So he does knight on BD2, here, 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 here. He doesn't do D4. That was played in the other game. Alright. The only problem with C6 is you slightly weaken your D6 square, but you've got it well covered. It's a battle of who's going to play D4 or D5. When and if and when and where and who. Rook E1. Castles. Oh shit. 1988 candidates match. Or something to that effect. Leonid is a longtime Italian game player. Actually, it was funny, Leonid would waste people when I was playing in the early 2000s. It was always amusing watching Udasin crush people, playing the closed, quiet Italian game against the Sicilian. He would just kill people by playing the Bodler attack or some form of Bodlers. He's so good at this simple setup. He would just do it against the Sicilian. But against Karpov, I would imagine would be less effective. So basically, Arsenal's playing like Karpov. Not bad, dude. Get respect for that. When's the last time we analyzed a game and somebody played a move and Karpov's name popped up? I mean, he's also on the banned list. I shouldn't say Karpov. Alright. Figures. Alright, knight f1, and then Arsenal hit him with d5. Knight f1 is a legitimate move, right? Totally, like, normal. The other possibility is what Yudasin did. I mean, he's heading for knight c4, right? Maybe that's a little more active. Who's Karpov? Bishop e3, knight c4. Who? Knight c4, knight e3. More active than knight f1. Nigel Short versus Salov. Karpov got cancelled, along with Karyakin. No big loss. Alright, knight f1, d5. I think this is reasonable, Arsenal, but you're changing the... you're certainly not forced to play d5. I like that you're challenging his center, though. Actually, it looks strong. Yeah, no, I'm proud that I have a few draws against Yudasin. He was a great player. He was a candidate for the World Championship. A lot of people don't realize now he's like just older and down to 2,500. Yudasin was legend. He was a legend. Yeah, he's a nice guy too. He's really eccentric, but a really good person. I told you guys a story that we played in the last round of the World Open, where first, like if we won, we would tie for first in round 9. And Yudasin's like a former candidate for the World Championship. I'm just a regular international master. We couldn't win, and it was a draw. And like most people would be pissed, you know. The average grandmaster would like storm away from the board, pissed that he didn't like at least win a prize, or let alone like tie for first in this huge open. And Yudasin instead like asked me if I want to analyze. I mean, this guy, he's a former candidate for the World Championship. He's not angry that he didn't beat me. He asked me if I want to analyze after the game. And what kind of like class act is that, you know? I mean, seriously. He's really eccentric, but he's definitely to be respected. D5, bishop b3, and now bishop g4. So I'm skeptical of this on the surface. Arsenal, what's going on here? So if you take, he takes back, you trade, and he takes with the bishop. The thing about Yudasin that you see is that he just loves chess, you know. The guy is just like, he just loves playing chess. He's like a little child, you know, in a 60-year-old man's body. I think he's probably around early 60s now. He's just a child. He's very childlike. He's always like smiling. No, I just, thought you might discombobulate him. So h6 probably here. You've got to stop bishop g5, so he can't put more pressure on the d5 pawn. The Salov is right. So let's see, knight g3, bishop e6. It's equal. Approximately equal, I guess. So acerbate, I always say that. Arsenal goes bishop g4. The problem is he just plays h3. So I don't think this is a weakness, Arsenal. I think you just gave him h3 for free. If it's free, it's for me. So now, what about knight g5? God bless Leonid Yudasin. Yeah, I mean, you like the guy. The guy's funny. He always makes me smile. One time I played the black side of a game I lost. I played the black side of a rouser with bishop d7. And as soon as I played the early bishop d7 line, he started looking at me and smiling weird. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? He likes to make eye contact, and he's really acting weird. He was all excited because that was like his variation. I didn't realize, like, he played that when he was younger, and so he was like a big expert on it. He got all excited that I played his variation. No, I mean, bishop e6, knight g5, how big a problem is it, is the question. Arsenal didn't calculate. Maybe it's not a big deal, you know, maybe, like, this doesn't do anything. I mean, you just go bishop d7. But I assume, like, it doesn't help you, you know. Okay, there's the possibility of letting him take it. But do you really want to give this guy, like, an unopposed white-squared bishop for the rest of the game? I don't think so. It may not seem like a big deal now, but it could be later. Of course, you're right. Like, the worst case, you could play queen d7 or rook e8 or something like that. But, you know, you could also just take back with the pawn. But I think objectively, as a long-term asset, the bishop is important. You should probably, like, preserve it. I'm not sure he gains anything with knight g5, though. At the end of the day. He might just, like, blunder back the tempo you got with the free h3, the free h6, you know? Maybe it doesn't really matter. I have a question. Wait, anything else he can do? Not really. Alright, so knight g3. Maybe it didn't really matter, and you just, like, transpose to the same position. Now a6. Wow. So he went with a6. That's kind of unexpected. I thought you might actually play a6. If anybody played a6, I thought, thank you, Cooking Rooks, for another 111 bits. It looks like a very standard position to me. But I was thinking if he doesn't play a6, you might. But this is kind of a risky move by white. So I agree, you're probably right to play b5. If you play b6, there's always the possibility of that happening, undermining your white square control. But this a6, like, is a double-edged sword. That pawn could, like, fall later on. You know, that's a provocative move. I wouldn't make that as, like, the lower rated player. And plus your bishop gets a square back on b6 maybe. I mean, you could straight up play bishop b6 legit right now. No. Bishop b6 probably, you don't want to lose control of this. But let's say you play rook e8, right? Now white's fresh out of things to do. Well, he's got to do like an acerbate rook lift. I would think rook a2. I mean, I don't know what else to suggest. I guess they do. They would typically, they being the Italian game players, there's this kind of thing. I mean, sometimes you see like knight g4, but I don't know if he can like pull his knight away from the center with you know, tension in the center. That doesn't seem right. So queen c2 is a reasonable move. So you could do bishop b6 if you want to. It's your party. You can cry if you want to. I mean, this is okay, right? Like takes, queen takes, and take with the bishop. So the e5 is defended. I mean, I don't think you can be worse. Ultimately, if you get in c5, those pawns look, you know, his whole queen side looks juicy. As Art Vega just started streaming. Don't leave me, but I might like raid him later after the stream ends. Like seriously, that's the problem with pushing all your pawns on the queen side. Ultimately, like, you have a lot of weaknesses. If you get that c5 in, I mean, you're just like better. He could be overextended with all these stupid pawn moves. So you play queen c8. Yeah, that's subtle. Obviously threatening the a6 pawn. Rolls eyes. Insert eye roll here. Queen c8 threatening the a6 pawn. Keep him distracted. But I don't know if you're really legitimately threatening bishop takes h3. It's not... I think he'd rather have his queen, like, with the ability to go to f1. His queen is absent from the king's side. His bishop's absent from the king's side. It's not impossible that this bishop takes h3 might actually work. But this is like a strategic total shocker. I mean, he's giving you a protected passer right down his freaking throat. That's a very committal move by white. Now the question is, do you take or do you push right away? Yeah, I mean, that's a very surprising move. My instinct is to always take toward the center and then like jam the protected passed pawn. But, you know, it's not over or anything. I mean, it's a game. He has a queenside majority and stuff. So I'm not sure whether you should exchange pawns or not. I mean, there's no doubt that d4 is a major move. Actually, Arsenal doesn't have to do anything. But pay taxes and die. I love it. When I tell that to Hungarians, they're like, they don't understand. The old dad joke. One of my favorite, my dad's favorite jokes just doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. You're just like, the joke doesn't work anymore. You just have to say, the only things you have to do is die. d4. Here, like, avoidance of taxes, I guess, is much more common. d4, bishop c1. And then Arsenal just unleashed the beast here with bishop takes h3. There's a problem, though, isn't there? I mean, is he going to have, like, an in-between move on you on b5? So that's why, one of the reasons I thought this was more simplistic, to do like this, this, and then this. You know, then if you do, well, whatever he does, but let's say, then if you do the sack, like, he has to take it. I mean, there's no other option. But the problem I'm seeing is, like, first of all, what are you going to do if he takes on b5? Like, you got to actually worry about that now. Bishop takes h3, pawn takes pawn. Because he's on this, right? That's another issue to have to work it out. Paying taxes is not to be joked about. I agree. It's not my joke, it was my dad's joke. Where he got it from someone else, but I never actually, like, use it. It just came to mind. I don't like joking about taxes either. I don't find it very funny. Paying to have a US passport pretty much sucks. So, c takes b5. So he just takes your piece. Well, he can take it next move too. Boink, he didn't take it. So obviously this is a major possibility. But Arsenal has something. I mean, he has knight g4 and knight h4. It's like a right-left combo. I don't really follow boxing. But I know there was the Fury match the other day. White's hurt by the fact that there's nothing that can get to f1 in time. Obviously. It's a combo. Knockout. So he doesn't take on b5. He has the common sense to play this. But now, are we fast enough? Because you go here. Oh, shit. So what do we do? So that doesn't work? So knight g4 doesn't work because of queen f1. And you're screwed. You literally are committed. Knight h4 just... Well, it doesn't do anything. He just takes it. So you basically went with your other option here. I mean, he can take, right? He does take. But his other option... My other brother, Daryl. What's happening? You're going to trade queens and take on d3? Well, I don't think it's attacking chances. I mean, it looks like that's going. I mean, this looks like a problem. But this is serious. You have 3 pawns for a piece, and his b4 pawn is hanging and his rook is hanging. So I think now, you know, attacking chances, maybe, maybe not, but you have at least that, right? So he has to take it. And now you have attacking chances there, so he has to move the knight. Or give a piece back, right? But he's like down pawns if he does that. You also have rook e5. So he defends h2, but this looks really dangerous. You have the oof attack with the oof gun. Like knight here, rook e6, rook g6. Possible like e5 access. Oh shit. Richard the Third played. You played knight takes e4 here? Oh my god, man, that's just unbelievable. Wow, I was looking at slower stuff. Wow, I mean, what about like just slow motion? Knight g4. This is hanging? I was thinking slow motion, you know, rook lifts. What else do you have? Your bishop's a little hurt right now. You don't have that many options, to be honest. So knight g4 looks like the only obvious try. He can attack that, though. So the problem with knight g4, I mean, you could have to deal with that. And then the threat of, like, queen f1, trading pieces and stuff. You're really close to winning by force. So knight takes e4, wow. Okay, now, that's a third pawn, first of all. You have 3 pawns for a piece. Materially, you're fine. Plus his king is open, and you have devastating threat of rook e6. Puzzle time. I got the first puzzle. Jim, did you see that in your game, by the way? You weren't here. I mean, I guess you analyzed it with the engine, but it took me 10 minutes, but I found knight f3 check in your game. It took me like 5 minutes at least. I don't remember. Oh yeah, you had this like killer move. Knight f3 check. I knew there was something there. You know, when he took your pawn on a7, you just knock him out immediately with knight f3 check. Yeah. But it took me forever to see it. D takes e4. So like obviously this is a forcing move, doesn't do anything. So what is white supposed to do? I mean, if he doesn't take the knight, what's he gonna do? Oh god, I don't know. That does look kind of forcing. I don't think too many people here would come up with an alternative to pawn takes knight. It's pretty hard to imagine an alternative to that move. You can't really blame him if this is a mistake. Yeah, I mean, with this, unbelievable. Yeah, that's like impossible to find. This is so, you know, I don't think many people are going to... Grandmasters, maybe. But to find this move, allowing that, like, all kinds of discoveries and stuff, that's unbelievable. I mean, there's the possibility of stuff like this, you know, where you're doing, like, giving up the 2 rooks for the queen, for example. And white has to, like, know he's winning this position. I don't know, who knows, you know, something like this. Maybe white has a blockade on the light squares, or... I mean, there's some really crazy stuff going on. There's no way that most people are going to find that defense. Yeah. Too late, bro. He might have benefited by the Aster the Acer mate rook maneuver at some point. You know, rook a2 could really pay off, I think, like defensively in this type of line. Yeah, this is like his only move. So now you got to decide whether to take it right away or add to the pressure. But he's threatening queen f1, I guess. Alright, he plays it anyway. Oh, I had a funny thing come up this week, Arsenal. I played Hebden in Hastings in 2004 or 2005, and some random guy like sent me a messenger. He was like, "Do you have your game score from Hastings in 2005? I'm collecting the games of Mark Hebden." I'm like, Jesus, man. Even if I can find it, like, I can't even read my own score sheet. Like, the 2 days after I played the game, you know, there's a very small chance that I'll be able to decipher my own writing. But we'll see. Queen f1, g2. Holy shit, that's a nice move. Phew, that's just brutal. Beautiful. So Arsenal's not only brilliant, but he's artistic as well. That is such a beautiful move. g2. Oh, that's sick. Takes it now. This is where you resign. You gotta resign here. I mean, you can't play this out, can you? Alright. He's playing it out. White is down a pawn. He has rook and knight for queen and pawn. You gotta resign there. You showered the board with gold coins when Arsenal plays g2 and resign. Alright, you got the pawn back. So it's just rook and knight for the queen. I'm just kidding. I'm being a little bit facetious. That doesn't go over here in Hungary. But seriously, alright. Probably he could resign. This is sick, dude. Rook a3? Master. Rather than resign, play rook a3. No, not rook a3. I would rather resign than play that. You gotta come up with something better than that. That's humiliating. That's so cheap. Arsenal's opponent is like a used car salesman or something. Unbelievable. You should troll him by playing like king h8 or something. Hey, let's get on a dark square. Alright, it's funny, but, you know, it's not going to have much effect in the long run. Queen g4 check, here, and then d3. Wow. Nice. Very nice. Another artistic shot. And now here, defending. I knew that was going to happen. Now there's no discovery. So we have rook... no rook f8 because of rook takes d3. So queen h3 check, king g1. Rook f8, rook takes d3. Is there a mate here? This is what I'm not sure. Where's the win? I mean, we're winning, but where's the fancy win or something beautiful? Bishop h3, bishop h2 check. Oh man. Where's the beautiful move? d2? You didn't play d2. Christ, he has knight g5 check. Oh my god. We lose a queen again. He's like the master of tactics. Look at that. I almost suggested d2. Here? That's mundane. We had to resort to mundane moves now. Rook d8, rook e3. Yeah, this guy, no wonder he didn't resign. Now he's starting knight g5. He's the master one-move threats. Unbelievable. It's got to be like a kid or something. Arsenal, was this like a teenager or a kid? His failure, you know, his lack of resigning is very... He's won a lot of games from bad positions, I would say. He's the master of cheapos from bad positions. I was expecting bishop f4, but this is probably better. He's just collecting pawns now. Ooh, maximum pawnage. Take that. Now what, buddy? Oof. And now the res is clear. Nice game. That was a nice game, dude. All right. Asterbate is up next with Kukuc. This could be a Hungarian. Kukuc. No, it would be Kusuc. Kushuk. Kuchuk. No, it would be Kukuc. Kukuk. It's probably not Kuku at Kadam. I don't know. It's not Hungarian. So we got Asterbate. Did I get... Oh, Zen Chess wants to go next. All right. Yeah, Zen Chess, you're up. Very well. I got your game, but it's in a separate study. Subscribers were full for games today. Wait, where is Zen Chess? Yeah, thanks, Zen. No, we're gonna do it. I know you gotta go. Alright. Yeah, I got it. So game 2. Was your game 3, this is a 2,000 plus USCF OTB quad invitational? How strong were your opponents in this tournament? A provisional 2,300, wow. What about game 3? How strong was game 3? Okay, this guy is game 2. Oh, game 3 was 2,050. Ah, so disappointed. You should do better. You should do better. I mean, you gotta score at least 50% in this squad. That's a very bad result for you. Move 11 is like giving people too much credit. You and Move 11 are both at least 2,100. You have to be confident in that. Even though your like numeric ratings are below that, you got to treat your opponents like, if the guy's 2,050, he's weaker than you. I think you're both 2,100 plus. So let's see what's up here in the Najdorf. Oh. F3. Nils, what's up? Nilf. If I had a speech impediment, but I don't. I just have brain fog. Nils, what's up? F3, E5. So, Queen B6 is interesting, yes. This is the... Well, it's similar to the Varga attack, right? Zoli Varga plays a lot of F3. But then if you play... How does this work now? A6, C4. That's a different position with C4 I'm thinking of. Okay. Never mind. Knight C3, Knight C6, whatever, E5. Okay. This is recommended for white. F3 avoids the annoying Knight G4 but allows Queen B6. Okay, so like everyone plays Bishop E3 pretty much. F3 is much less common. I'm no Najdorf expert, so I don't know, man. You just play H5 randomly. He plays it on the next move. Lichess should just play it now. Just play it whenever. It doesn't matter. Just play it right away. How are there no Lichess games here? There we go. There's just one. Alright. But it looks like Komljanovic has a lot of games. He was like a crazy alcoholic grandmaster. Lichess does it everywhere. He'll just do h5. The slightest, if a pin drops on the floor, he'll play h5. But that seems a little excessive. Like right here, it's very early. So, I mean, it's not really the principled move. Yeah, after e5, it's different. So e5, I mean, this is like... Yeah, e5 is the best move, man. There's no way it's not the best move. Though, you know, okay, move 11 is trying to express interest in queen b6. No, this is legit interesting. So you've got, like, tactical motifs. You can't sack a pawn with white. You can't do some kind of queen trap or something. This isn't the variation, is it? The poison pawn? Can we play the poison pawn? You guys know what this is? This is just like dubious. Does anybody know? But I'm curious about move 11's. Okay, the knight b3 is apparently the line, but I just want to know now, what do I do after bishop e3? Do I have e5? That doesn't seem to make sense. So I guess I take this. Yum yum. Bobby Fischer. Sorry, my scroll button is doing crazy stuff today. It looks like you gotta play knight a4. And then like queen b4 check, c3, queen a5. When it's difficult to see like where white's compensation is. I guess that's more or less a refutation. As good as I can come up with. Yeah, Uber driver. Lover of material. Great to have you with us. Have you taken any material you didn't like? Get a lot of food poisoning. So, alright, e5, knight b3. That's the way the queen b6 goes. But, I was just looking at queen b6. Queen b6, knight b3 anyway. Okay, and now we have to play e6, which sucks. I mean, we want to play e5 mostly. No, this is an independent variation. So statistically, it looks very good. Damn. I mean, look at black's winning percentage in the main line with queen e2. The winning percentage here is ridiculous. What kind of line in the Najdorf does black have 41% wins? That's ridiculous. That's crazy. Wow. So this is like main line. Grishuk Kasparov, 2001. No, we left book. It must be G4. G4, B5. It's like a weird King Kiri's attack. Do you ever smuggle anyone over the border, Uber driver? You ever get any like human trafficking going on in your Uber? Alright, E5. Knight b3. E5 is definitely the best move. Not everyone's style. And now h5. Yeah, as I said, like they play h5 anywhere nowadays. So if you play, for example, bishop e6, I guess the question would be, if white's not threatening g4, you don't need to play h5, right? Right. You don't like it when white plays g4 anyway. Well, I mean, we need to answer that question. That's the big $1,000,000 question. Yeah, why are we playing h5? So if this is playable, this is the question. Movsesian actually played it and lost against Rukrabi. But I mean, it looks like black might have d5, doesn't it? d5, g5, d4. Well, that would be the first thing I would look at. Maybe the last. And what's going on here? Is this just bad? Did we invent new theory? The engine doesn't like it for black, which I'm not surprised by. But it's not that bad. It might almost be playable for black, surprisingly, that no one played it. h6 is lame. So anyway, all right. Well, you have to sort that out. You know, is that a thing you're afraid of or not? I would say. Now we know what to play against you. So h5, bfd, and then bishop g5. Right. Well, I mean, bishop g5 isn't a good move when black is going to meet it with bishop e7 comfortably, or knight on bd7. So I mean, the damage is done. Like, you've weakened your g5 square, but that doesn't mean he has to occupy g5 directly. He doesn't want to let you play d5, I guess. Everyone played bishop e3. Your opponent played bishop g5. Yeah. Well, you're not threatening d5. Bishop g5 pin doesn't do that much. So white kind of needs another plan here. What's the plan for black? Bishop e6. Now bishop g5 is out. So they do knight d5. Yeah, I remember looking at this. I remember looking at this a while back. Somehow Uber Driver finds a game from the 70s or something. Unbelievable. That's the Zoli Varga variation. But that's different, Uber Driver. That's a different line. Yeah. Similar but different. Bishop e6. So knight d5 is theory. We looked at this move, 11 and I think. But yeah, he messed up with bishop g5. So the question now is, like, should you play bishop e7? I don't like knight d7 because you block your bishop. I think I don't like this. I mean, I'm sure it's, like, playable, but I don't think I like blocking this. And if bishop e6, he has knight d5. And I don't know if I like that either. I guess it's okay. You could take, right? Not sure if I like this or not. Oh, so there's a problem if bishop e7? Turkey Farm, I don't know if we have time for any more. Depends on how much beer I can find. Bishop e7. Okay, so you're saying bishop takes... Look at his position, my god. Look at the dark squares. I would be willing to sack, you know, a pawn. I mean, you've played h5. Okay, that's a pretty ridiculous move. But I mean, man, he's got dark square weaknesses everywhere here. I kind of feel like you're saying this. You send it over. The Sveshnikov? Was that what you said? Knight d5, right? His dark squares are super weak, man. I doubt that white is better here. Yeah, white is worse. His dark square weaknesses are too significant. I don't know if this is bad, though. Maybe bishop e6 is fine. But I guess this is different, right? Now, you could consider taking with the bishop. Or just not taking, you know, doing like knight d7. Anyway, you played bishop e6. Actually, maybe there's a point. Bishop e7. He could play bishop c4. Is that relevant? I don't know. Well, it's better than bishop takes f6, probably. You can't use a paint by numbers approach. I agree. I think you could expand your advice, Superdriver, to you can't use a paint by numbers approach in chess. That's even better, you know. Not just against an Eidorf. In chess. DG World, I think you're a little late. We've got to try to send the games in earlier. I had 8 games before the stream started. I think now I have 10. But I can't do more than that. Bishop e6. I spend a good amount of time in all the games, so it's not that easy. We're not an assembly line. Alright, bishop e6. Yeah. Queen d2 is better than anything else. Okay, castles. So queen c7 is another option. Rook c8 is also an option here for Zen. Knight takes e4. No. Not quite yet. So rook c8 or queen c7 look more active than bishop e7. But I don't think like bishop e7 is a bad move necessarily. But you still don't have it. You never have it here, Uber Driver. I mean, he's taking with a knight, and like everything's protected. You're not going to... And this is like general advice to you, Uber Driver, from someone who's played the Sicilian all my life. Tactics in the black side of the Sicilian with knight takes e4 work like 1% of the time. You know, it almost never works. It works far more in other openings, like the Queen's Gambit, or in my experience, it works 1 to 2% of the time. The other times, it just loses, or it's like you basically trade all the pieces to a draw or something like that. I know you like that. So if you include like draws, it probably works like 5% of the time or something. But yeah, it's surprisingly, you know, very rare how that actually works. How often that actually works. Bishop e7, now king b1, and we transpose to some game. Actually, really recent game. Yeah, rook c8's a good move for black, like in all positions, I would assume. This is a really good move, of course. Uber Driver's right. He's transposed to Pirun versus Shevchenko. I don't know who Shevchenko is, but I've heard of that other guy. And now white play bishop e2, which looks lame. Yeah, Casper, the friendly grandmaster, is not playing bishop e2. This move is lame with a capital L. This is a very routine move that doesn't do anything. I like this h4 better. That's also slightly committal. But what's white supposed to do? I guess knight d5, right? But then you're getting, yeah, h4. No, h4 is relevant, because h4 protects g5, so maybe knight d5 becomes a real legit thing here. Does the h5 reduce black's winning chances? Is it more of a... Don't ask me, move 11. I don't play the knight off at the top level. I think it's a matter of, like, people got tired of getting mated. h5 reduces the chance of getting mated significantly. Getting your ass handed to you in a basket. It's not really a question of, like, winning versus draws. It significantly lowers the chance of ending up in an ass basket. So h4. It really reduces white's attacking chances tremendously. Yeah, you would think maybe it would reduce black's winning chances slightly. There'd be more draws. I think by nature of less people getting mated with black. So bishop b2 kind of lame. And then you played b5. I guess that's okay. And then white played the unthinkable. And I'm going to puke next. Like, bishop takes f6. Hold on, I'm going to go get me a beer. But I do the face... I'm going to do the face palm. Yeah, that's pretty sick, man. Violation of bishop. Ugh. Bishop takes f6 is a horrible move. It's a horrible move. You deserve to end up in chess court for playing that. Zen's opponent... I said, like, earlier, you know, you need to send in a permission slip if you want to trade a bishop for knight unprovoked. And this guy, man, he didn't send his permission slip into the school guidance counselor. I mean, bishop takes f6 with no provocation. Just trading off your bishop, your good bishop. Phew, man. I mean, this is like 100 times better to play bishop e3. If you're gonna play, you know, anything, I guess, but Pirun is right. You know, probably h4. I guess defending the bishop on g5. I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, we're back. Najdorf analysis live. So, alright, White made a horrible move. Bishop takes f6. This was the last blunder of the game. Someone sent me another message here. What? Testosterone, if possible. Okay, bishop f6, knight f6, and then knight d5. So, moment of truth. Very important like occurrence here. Strategically, Black can take on d5, closing down the pressure on the open file, and making this pawn no longer backward. But it's very important, like which way Black takes, because they're completely different. If you take with the bishop, White takes with the pawn, and we have like a bad bishop on e7 with a knight. We have basically opposite color bishop endgame. This is what happened in the game. Very dynamic position. Possibility of knight a5, knight c6, which is really dangerous. One of the main ideas for White in these types of positions. It's very, very imbalanced, when we get to opposite color bishops. The other way to play it is to take with a knight. And now we take with the knight, take with the pawn, and then probably play bishop d7. Keeping the bishop pair for, let's say, the endgame. In this case, I don't know. We don't want to play bishop f5 because White will trade the bishops with like bishop d3 and try to focus on getting, I don't know, good knight versus bad bishop type of ending. So we come back here, but again, there are problems with knight a5, knight c6. Yeah, I mean, in the opposite color bishops, it's very dynamic. It's about who has the better chances on their color complex. So I don't know. I mean, both possibilities here. I'm a big fan of opposite color bishops, though. So you're not gonna scare me with this. And bishop d8 is a big idea. Actually, Zen played queen b6, but I mean, now we've transposed to theory. Wow, look, Black hasn't lost a single game here. Wow. Bishop d8. Activating the bishop in some lines. Covering a5. The bishop is inactive now, but I mean, it has a lot of potential if you look at the dark squares throughout the board. I mean, so the black bishop isn't worse than the white squared bishop, essentially. It just needs to kind of get outside the pawn chain. This is fine. Anyway, guys, I'm going to move a little bit faster here. Queen b6, rook he1, castles. Yeah, I guess castles is reasonable, but it's not your only option. I think you could consider king f8 with the idea of manual castling, like g6 and king g7. But I guess you can also consider not moving your king at all. Yeah, of course, f4. Yeah, I mean, all this stuff has to be carefully calculated. He might have f4. And how do we deal with that? Do we push this, give up the d4 square? Do we have tactics? Probably not. So castles looks like pretty safe. There's a small chance like your h-pawn becomes a weakness, which wouldn't be entirely surprising. So you've actually transposed to 2 correspondence games, it looks like. Wow. So this guy still managed to transpose to book somehow. Bishop d3, and now bishop d8 novelty. So I assume these are correspondence games. Rook fe8, played in both. Trying to activate the rook, and giving the bishop an alternative, square. I mean, rook e8 also supporting like e4 later on. It's a very standard type of move. I would say it's probably about equal. Computer is saying that black is slightly better. Difficult to evaluate. Anyway, bishop d8 is okay. That's a new move, stopping knight a5. He has f4, and that's apparently dubious. f4. Rook e8. Ask him about the Gulf War, Uber driver. Has he taken his Xanax today? Alright. Seriously now. You gotta take things with a light heart. Bishop f5, carving up the light square. Speaking of light hearts, light squares. You know, this is not a big deal. He's going to have a crushing pass pawn on the d file. Of course. Zenchess said, I was worried that white might play for d67. I'm literally like shitting myself with fear of d6, d7. Yeah, that's very likely game over very quickly if you don't have some answer to it. I mean, it looks really, really scary. So say here, like here, here, here. This is extremely frightening, but you do have a bishop on d8 at the end of the day. Yeah. Zenchess keeps like saying what I was thinking before I say it. It makes things so much easier. If you say it, you know, what I'm thinking, I'll just let you do the streaming. Exactly, like your bishop is on d8, so as scary as it seems, you have that like built-in blockade on d8. It's actually not that clear, you know. At the end of the day. Yeah. The computer thinks like black is better. Bishop f5, rook c4, and this is game. Oh shit, that was the game. F takes c5, d takes c5, and he just played h3. h3 is a telegraph. Can I get a g4, please? But I mean, it's hard for white to generate a plan. I would certainly think d6, though. Pass pawns must be pushed, etc., etc. He's trying to play g4, it looks like. But he doesn't really want to put his pawns on white squares with the white square bishop. You actually have g6 at some point, which might discombobulate him. So he played h3, and you played a5, going with the queenside pawns, which is supernatural. a5, a4, a3 looks like it would, you know, you'd have a standard sort of attack on the dark squares. After the game, he told me after the game he had a draw with bishop f5, bishop d3. Well, I guess that's, you know, what the computer said. But what do you want to do? I mean, I'm certainly not accepting a draw from the guy here. It's a very dynamic position. You don't have to take a draw with rook c8, bishop f5, rook c4. I mean, there has to be some kind of... I mean, this does look a little bit sketchy because he has d6, maybe. I don't know. You have to consider all your options. Rook a4 is totally within the realm of possibility. Literally every move on the 4th rank. That looks a little odd. Rook g4 looks exposed. Rook f4 maybe. So I think he's kind of cocky to say like he has a draw or whatever, you know. But okay, it's possible that it's like that's the best line. But I think you have every right to want to play for a win. Opposite colored bishops. It depends on how strong your opponent is. h3. Now he plays bishop d3, rook c8. And now, I don't know what you would do if he repeats. Do you take a draw or do you go with something else? So queen e2. Attacking b5. By the way, like just an offhand comment against people, like the problem with the Najdorf is they all know the theory like 20 moves deep. You know, the dragon, the Najdorf, especially those two. Players that might be like 2050, like this guy, he's probably like 2200 in the white side of the Najdorf and like 20 or 2000 in all other, like, you know, variations. People tend to be better prepared in mainline openings. Rook b8, and now knight d4. So he plays a crazy tactic. Wow. Wow. Is this a miscalculation? Queen d4, bishop h7. Knight h7? No. King h7? Rook d4? Pawn d4? Yeah, that's what happened. That's why you play the Mora. Never ever play the dragon against a little kid who's like 11 years old. Like a mainline Yugoslav dragon. Every like 10-year-old kid is basically like 2300. I mean, even if the rating is 1500. The problem with Zen's repertoire is the Najdorf is... It's like Black's premier... It's sort of like Black's, or at least it was until maybe the last 10 years. It was for like a good 25 years. Black's premier defense against... Let's say for 30 years, the Najdorf Sicilian was Black's premier defense against e4. You know? I mean, that's why I always avoided it. Yeah, White just miscalculated. But this is pretty funky. I mean, you're not well coordinated. But I think he just miscalculated. Primarily because of Fischer and Kasparov, of course. Also the fact that it is, like, maybe one of Black's best moves. Personally, I think the Sveshnikov and the Najdorf are probably best. E6 Sicilians are okay, but a little more passive. Yeah, that's why Magnus plays the Sveshnikov. Yeah, Sveshnikov and Najdorf. Sveshnikov is actually more stable than the Najdorf. So I'm going to have to go through this a little faster, but we have a good blockade. Nice connected pawns you got there, Grandmom. Those are beautiful, shiny, white connected glass pawns. Little fairy tale reference. Alright, now bishop f6 drops a rook. Yeah, this is a funky position, man. You gotta be careful. Poor Zenchess, he got 1 out of 3 in a quad, and this was his one win. You gotta get some easier opponents, dude. King d3, king e7, queen f2, rook b3 check here. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice. And you snap that pawn, and now it's a matter of technique. Nice. Alright, man. Good game. Overall, very interesting. I've been spending way too much time on these games because they're all interesting. We've had a great number of cool selections for today's stream. Alright, let me get back to the list. I had to go through the second half there because I was getting too bogged down. A little faster. I can't spend like 30. You donated 5... What? Maybe your Streamlabs isn't hooked up? You mean you donated by PayPal? There have been problems with people who have American Express cards. But I'm going to have to find out if there's an issue with paying or making a donation. Let me know. That's a vital part of the stream. Obviously. You donated now via Streamlabs. You donated 5. Maybe your Streamlabs isn't hooked up. But you just donated... Oh, you mean it didn't go through? Oh, it's hooked up. I didn't see it? No, I see it. I just don't have it, like, in front of me. I have it in another window. I thought you meant there was a problem with making the donation. Thanks, man. No, I didn't. I had the sound turned off because people got irritated with notification sounds. So I don't see it. It's right up there. Zenchess $5. Thank you. Zenchess tip $5. Everyone play the Najdorf. I don't have it pop up. It does pop up, but I don't have it. I don't see it. You guys see it. And then I have the sound turned down. So I just don't notice it. Alright. Fast enough, usually. So we did number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5. No, number 4, sort of. Okay, Asterbait, we did. Asterbait's game we did. This is the Sumahair. Asterbait we did, right? No, we didn't. Damn, I gotta go faster. Alright. This is Asterbait. We're gonna have to go a little faster through these games. I've been taking my time. Yeah, what is a Monka? Monks games. You call those games Monks games. Oh my god. Astrobate with white? Astrobate with white. Check this out. I tried to flip the board, but it's not cooperating with me. Hello? I have to refresh the page. Alright. Damn, it's still not working. What the... Alright, there it is. My F key. Mockmaster, on this account you do kind of light trolling, huh? Just keep it kind of mellow. A4. A4. Yeah, that's not a common move here. It's a delayed Bodler attack. Astrobate can't cure himself of this Bodler. You could still try to do the Grand Prix. I mean, it's totally playable. Hi, Bob. Bye, Bob. So, A4, F4. Bob's so mellow under that account. It's like a different person. I guess I don't pay enough attention, so he doesn't really, like, get as excited as usual. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we just try F4 anyway. Astrobate. We don't know if Mockmaster is definitely Bob. You're awfully similar if you're not Bob. You guys should really get together. A4, Knight C6, Bishop C4. I don't approve of the delayed Bodler. Okay, Knight F6, F4, and now this is worse than the move Bishop takes F6 in the last game. The horrifying E5. Maybe it's not, though. It reminds me of this. There's a line in the Grand Prix, like E4, C5. People actually play... It's horrifying, but people actually play E5 here. I know this looks truly horrifying. I mean, think about it. It's basically, you're playing the black side of the Vienna, and you're just like, illegally playing C5, you know? Illegally playing C5 on the black side of a normal Vienna gambit. How bad can it be, right? It's not that bad, surprisingly. It just looks horrible and ugly. If Black's careful, he's probably... It looks really bad, but it's actually not that bad. Similar to what Arsenal, Astrobate's opponent, did here. It's really not that bad. It's not great. I played it in Blitz. I think like a lot of weaker Grand Prix attack players would probably underestimate it. So this is kind of the same idea. I mean, you can't take here because the knight is just pretty good on E5. It seems like that's not great, you know? So you just have to kind of hang out. And it's hard to attack F7. I mean, you've got this one idea, right? Are we threatening knight G5? So what happens if, like, pawn takes pawn, for example? What does white do now? If we play knight F3 and black plays pawn takes pawn, we can't play knight G5, right? Because of knight E5, that annoying defense, which defends F7 and hits our bishop. It's like playing an amazingly strong King's Gambit. Sort of. Amazingly might be going too far. But, I mean, I guess white should just play like D3 here. There's really nothing else to do. Just play D3. I think you also have to be careful he doesn't like take this pawn and you do something stupid and just he goes out to H5. And the next thing you know, like black's doing fine. You know, his d4 control is good. There are like traps, kind of. Like you could easily go wrong with white and get a bad position. But this is obviously like mental. Black is clearly mentally challenged. This is not a good move. I mean, f7, there's no defense of e5. He's just leaving e5. This is lost. Yeah, it's much stronger than knight g5. I would imagine maybe black could try something crazy here. But it looks like after this you just resign. There's nothing that black can do. That's game over. He just lost like the most important pawn on the board, nothing major. But Acer did what? Oh man. Asterbate went into full like King Crusher bullet mode with bishop takes f7. My god, dude. That's crazy. You know, this is probably sound, actually. Arsenal might have lost his way, but I said Arsenal by mistake. This is Asterbate. I like it, yeah, spicy. No, but not knight takes. And knight takes is interesting, but I think you're missing the boat here. Isn't it like pawn takes pawn? And what is he going to do after pawn takes? Yeah, that was great. The Arsenal Asterbate game. What was it? The Evergreen. The Arsenal Asterbate 01 game with Queen E2 mate. I think it was Queen E2 mate, right? Yeah, man. This is such a fundamental position. Asterbate, you have to take with the f-pawn on e5. And you're just crushing black now. Oh, Arsenal did bishop f7 against Asterbate and he got his ass handed to him. Is Arsenal not here? No, he left already. He did his game. We did his game. Or he's at drinking club. He'll be really pissed if he finds out that we talked about it. You don't talk about that. Somebody's gonna need a Xanax for sure. If he finds out we've been talking about the Arsenal Asterbate game. You could just search for that. 94. This is crazy. This is crazy. Now, you know, you're not winning anymore. He's going to just kick you out with d6, and you don't have a light square bishop. Very bad, Asterbate. Very bad. Basically, Asterbate played Cochrane Gambit. Arsenal was like clearly better, and he just like sacked the bishop for nothing, and then Asterbate just like killed him. I mean, he was on tilt and went crazy, but the execution was nice. It was really absurd. He just like literally sacked a piece for nothing, but then Asterbate was relentless. Queen b6. Yeah, I mean, castling is a good idea, right, Uber driver? I think something nice and fundamental. d6. Castles. Oh, castles is illegal. Yeah, that does pose a problem. I did a Pragnanatha there. I thought black could castle. I would have let him castle legally. The only good thing here is that black can't castle, but d6 looks pretty strong. This is horrifying. It's like Asterbate versus Asterbate. He just puts the queen on b6. Next will be c4. Nice center. Ooh. Now I'm starting to like it again. Now you got the center. Look at the center. Man, you could play f5. You have obviously knight d5, but then queen c6. Then knight b6, even there. So here's the question. Interesting move by Astrobate, who made a mistake that he showed me in a game today where he put his knight out on the side of the board on a4. This shows, you know, thinking about staying in the center with all the pieces. It's actually better. I mean, I don't know about knight b6 though. You want to play c3 and kick his knight the hell out of the center though. This works because queen g6 is not available. Nice. f5 there. What are you going to do? Take with a rook? If you take with the rook, doesn't black have a trick with g6? I mean, yeah, maybe white's winning in some fancy variation like this, but it could get kind of spicy. I was hoping to keep it simple. Check. Yeah, he does that. Yeah, so I expected rook takes here. But knight takes might... Maybe knight takes doesn't work. Knight takes, because he doesn't take with the queen. He takes with the knight again. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't work because of this. And only then, well, I mean, it might work still, but it looks scary. Yeah, we're probably winning. And black's too far behind in development. Yeah, he's not going to be able to defend this. I doubt he can defend this. Mama says knock you out. Knight takes e7. Yeah, this is like throwing a water bottle at Mike Tyson on the plane. Not a good idea. Astrobate goes in the ending. Oh my god. Astrobate, what happened? Now you're down a piece and you traded queens. Ooh, that's not good. Now black is probably really in the game. There's a massive bishop g5 check though. Recommend to defend against that threat. Black didn't know about that. No, it's ironic, like maybe if white's bishop was on d2, if this was here with the additional angle of attack of a5, maybe white would still be winning. But I mean, what about knight e6 here? It kind of looks like black's hanging on, you know? I mean, I'm not sure that we've got, like, what? A pawn for a piece? It's not enough. Unless I'm missing something pretty obvious. Even bishop a5 check wouldn't be enough, actually. It doesn't look like white has enough compensation. I mean, now the rook can't stay on the 7th rank, except for rook e7, which looks very precarious. Well, clearly he never should have traded queens. But what do you want him to play here is the question. There's got to be something. Well, rook takes. That was the whole point, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think rook takes is winning. I mean, g6. What I was looking at was this, right? We have knight takes e7. and black takes the queen, we take on c6, and we're winning this ending for reals, you know? We're actually winning for real in this position. So black takes here, and he's like really coming under a withering attack at this point. And he's not up a piece, which is always a bonus. So this is really where Astrobate screwed up. I mean, this is not the best, probably. That's not a variation. Sorry, here he doesn't play rook, he plays knight takes c7, knight takes c7, and now rook f7. Rook f7 doesn't cut it. Rook f7 is a blunder. But I don't know if white's winning. Wow, it's very close. The computer says knight c4 with close to equal. But you can't trade queens here, Acer. Absolutely not. This is a huge blunder. And now you don't have enough compensation. You're very lucky that he let you, he let you just like snap him off with bishop g5. Damn. That's mate. You missed a mate in one. That's my Kopek. That's when I mated Sigalchik with that mate. I did a game analysis for Chess Horizons. In the Benko, I mated him in 19 moves, my fastest win against a GM. You missed it. Rook e7. It's like overkill. Alright, good job. So, we've got a whole bunch of games like still outstanding. Mr. Coffee versus Move 11. At least we only have to do that once. Let's delete this. In the interest of conserving time, I'm going to only go over Mr. Coffee Move 11 once. Mr. Coffee Move 11, Sumaher, Leaky, and Mule Skinner. And I mean Turkey Farm only if I have time. We'll see how much beer I have left. Okay, Mr. Coffee Move 11, double knockout, double subscriber game. This is Mr. Coffee versus Move 11. Who won? Black won. Okay. We'll do it. Well, this was Mr. Coffee's submission originally, but they both submitted the game. I don't know which side to do. We'll look at white. Okay, d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, e3. Yeah, I just played a game with Sumaher in this the other day. Mr. Coffee playing the Cole Kotnowski. Paint by numbers time. Ah, my brother. You can't be more wrong. Rubinstein was one of the developers of the system. I think. I wonder about Bishop d3 though. I can't sell this on anybody. Nobody likes to play that. There's also like you could play. This is interesting. Bishop e5 check. Play like Catalan reversed. Bogo. So b3. Yeah. Okay. This is I guess a normal move order. Still Bishop d3 is reasonable. The problem would be Bishop g4. What happens if you play c4 now? Bishop f3, Queen f3, cd4, ed4, Knight c6. Kind of like it's a Petrov, where this pawn is there instead of, it's on e7 instead of c7. This is interesting. Anyway, I mean, Yusupov has probably played it. Whatever. And then the immediate exchange on d4. I guess I have to ask the question, why? Because white's played b3. That's the point. I guess in some lines it's probably a mistake, like in the London. But in this particular opening, I guess, in the Kolikownowski, once white plays b3 to kind of weaken the dark squares, and weaken his structure on the queen side, like you can't just have that straight up pawn like chain. You see it in the Catalan, you know, on the black side of the Catalan. What is white playing? Essentially like a reverse closed Catalan. I mean, black hasn't played g6 yet, but he could, and it would transpose directly to colors reverse Catalan. The minute that you play b3, I guess this move becomes reasonable. And he wants to play it before white can take back with a piece. Bijak, your game was analyzed? No, your game is next. Alright, so what about knight takes? You get overrun. So this is forced. Now bishop g4. Caro-Kann style. Mr. Coffee likes Gangnam style. But yeah, bishop g4 is very logical. I think the real question, notice like you don't see any big names here. George Danner, who plays everything, Shujanik, Kosic, Rambaldoni, you know, they're all like decent players, but no 2700s in the club here playing the white side of the Kolikownowski. If h3, do we take or can we play bishop h5? No games with bishop h5. I mean, g4 really? Is this necessarily bad for black? Are you sure? It can't be any worse than like your standard sort of Scandinavian or something. Yeah, it's fully playable. Interesting. Do we have a better move? It's not bad. You know, that's striking. I mean, look at this position. h3, 4 games. 1, 2, 3, all of them were decent players, and nobody played bishop h5. It's kind of disturbing, you know. Chickens play bishop takes f3. It's a solid move. I might have played it myself, but at least somebody ought to investigate this. Okay, anyway, this didn't happen. Mr. Coffee didn't play h3. He just simply developed with knight on bd2. Seems okay. Why are there no games in the master database at all, though? That's disturbing. I mean, these are passive moves that are fully playable. Why do you keep saying bishop b5? Like, I don't know, man. You gotta watch out for like queen a5 check type of ideas. Sometimes bishop b4. Now Mr. Coffee with a theoretical novelty, bishop b2. I don't feel like black's made a mistake here, necessarily. Either side has made a mistake. Suddenly a game pops up. Adli Ahmed, when he was still in the womb in 2003. He's a pretty young grandmaster. Okay, he's probably like 30, but he was pretty young in 2003. Stefanova. Igor Feugl. You know when Feugl couldn't beat Rick Bauer, he was in bad form. Damn. Feugl couldn't get it done here. That's bad, man. A bad result. There's a lot of games now. Okay. E6. I mean, Rick Bauer's not a bad player, but he's no Feugl. Feugl should have beaten him. But this opening, maybe like with white, is a little bit innocuous. So here is already like a minor concession. In the normal position we want to get the bishop on d3, but Mr. Coffee's allowed bishop g4. So we don't really have a great Kolikownowski. What white is playing is a queen's gambit with black. You're basically playing the Tartakover with colors reversed. And it's okay. I mean, it's solid, but you're not actively placed like for the initiative. Like your bishop's on d3 or something. It's just playing black with the white pieces. It's okay. It's like my game with Josh Waitskin with something like this. Like literally. Pull out the Chess Master videos. Let's see. There was something like this somehow, because with Waitskin we like did 95. I did c4 and 95, and I like took on c6, and he took on c4. And somehow we ended up with that structure where like he has an isolated pawn on c6, and I have an isolated pawn on d4. And I won the game later, but I have very little recollection. I know that it was a Kolikownowski because it was the first round of a tournament, and I had no prep for Waitskin. I didn't know who was going to play, and I just played something like I never play, which was this, essentially. I was lucky. Castle, castle, a3, rook c8. Nice move by move 11. He's turning into Capablanca. But I mean, it's a little aggressive, dude. Damn, look at that, the shelf. He's full on playing for the shelf on f4. Shelf master. The knight shelf. Move 11, maybe you should switch to playing d4. No, it's like an enhanced stonewall attack. But I mean, generally speaking, in the stonewall, you want to have like your knight on e4, probably. I mean, move 11 could play knight e4 here, right? If you're going to put the knight somewhere. Shall we analyze e4? Speaking of Lasker idea. Damn. Of course, Lasker, somewhat known for playing a particular variation of the Queen's Gambit, called the Lasker variation with the move knight e4. So what happens if knight e4? See, like I had a game like this with Sumaher the other day, where if I took it, it would end up like a total simplification. Take, 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 take. I don't know which way black takes here. Or this pawn's gonna fall. But that's a problem. So f5. And then this looks kind of sketch. So there's queen c4. Obviously, like, you have to be careful when and if you play that. But what I find amazing here is that all three players play the exact same move. That's unbelievable. Marcus Ragger, 2650, this random player from Long Island, and another guy all happen to play rook c8. What is the chances? This is like one of like literally like 7 different moves that black could play in this position. Move 11 is an outside the box type thinker. So now naturally g3. I didn't expect g6. You got to keep in mind, you got move 11 playing d4 with white. That's not his like native hunting ground. Right. f5 is the normal move in this structure. It's kind of like, otherwise, why the bleep did we put our knight on h5? What would Harry Nelson Pillsbury do? An old friend of Uber drivers from the Boston area. Some random guy named Harry. What would Harry do? But I mean, this pawn is somewhat exposed on the open file. That's why like we would prefer to have the knight on e4. It's not really normal to do it with the knight on h5, right? It's normal to do it with the knight on e4 when the knight on e4 shelters black from threats on the half open file. Yeah, we get our Dutch defense on. So this is move 11 being like a totally, unmolded d4 player. He's got a completely open mind. With black, he plays g6 to bring the knight back to fianchetto. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I don't know. Unusual, I would say. What is white supposed to do now? Mr. Coffee brought it in the center. Yeah, this makes sense, man. I like c4. It's an active move. You're putting pressure on the center. The knight is missing from the center, right? The knight would normally be on f6, reinforcing black in the center. I think I like c4 from Mr. Coffee here. It's an active move. Anything else? What other active move does he have in this position? Rook e1 is okay, but do you want to really take your rook off the f file? This doesn't look inspiring. This just trades pieces with no obvious effect. Okay, he takes this. He takes back. I mean, those guys played rook c8 for a reason, by the way. This pressure here. White has a nice space advantage with the knight on e5, but at the same time, he's missing his good bishop. And he could become overextended somehow. If he starts doing risky moves like f4. This is strategically the plan, but can you afford to do that necessarily? Knight g7 is a good defender. I mean, that's a typical Slav move, actually, move 11. What you did here. You played it like you're playing the Slav. g6, c4, knight g7. So now what? Mr. Coffee, yeah, naturally, it's not easy to say what he should do, but I would think rook e1, maybe. Might give us extra, unlikely to play it, but an extra option of knight f1, Queen's Gambit move. I don't think Mr. Coffee's move is bad, though. Of course, moving the king closer to the opponent isn't always a good idea. He wants to kind of shore up the weak squares. I don't know. I bet the computer doesn't like it. Funny, I saw a very similar game with one of my students today. Same thing, queenside majority. Was it one of my students? It just wants to push. Wow. What would Zuckertort do? Zuckertort would have done c5. So it's there's my queenside majority. Also a favorite play of Capablanca, with black, of course. While we're dropping names. Yeah, it just pushes. It's screw you, I have a queenside majority, where's your attack? So king g2 is bad. You move the king closer to the enemy, and you actually don't have a clear plan. I mean, the routine moves are rook c1, knight e5. This is very forcing, though. You just push. Yeah, I like it. Computer's right as always. So, king g2, rook e8. Weakening the king side, but I think Mr. Coffee here is banking on black exchanging pieces. He didn't realize he was playing like Mr. Creative. Coffee had to like, he had to be fairly certain that black would like trade the bishop, and he would be very secure, I think, there. This looks pretty solid. He's not expecting bishop f5. So obviously, we're banking on g4. And then black has bishop e4. This has to be carefully calculated. Take, take. Hello. I don't know, Coffee. What if you just stick your knight on e5 here? Your kingside is definitely like messed up, but black also has some issues. But I don't know about knight e5. That would close the diagonal again. I don't know, where do we go? If we go here, he has f5. It gets really scary. Yeah, I mean, this is sharp. It's very sharp. Hard to evaluate. So naturally he like, alright, I don't know if I want to do that. Now he plays knight e5. I mean, black's going to have to worry about that for a while. That bishop on f5. He might have to play g5. That's what he did. Yeah, I saw this game, but I didn't analyze it closely. And I didn't really like pay attention to exactly what was going on. But I mean, clearly a weakening move, but he's worried about the future of his bishop getting trapped. So black plays g5, weakening the white squares. And now Coffee trades on c6. I mean, this is not a move that we want to do. It's not a move we want to do, in general, necessarily. Strengthening, like, black's center. With our powerful knight at e5, voluntarily trading it off. I mean, I want to play f4. I want to be a tough guy. But I'm not sure that's safe, Like, who's more, like, weakened on the king side here? Let's see what the computer says. I think f4 is fun. Wow, it goes with g4. So much for being afraid of weakening the king side. f4, like, almost loses. Wow, just takes. I thought we could take with the rook. But there's just f6. Knight takes c6, b takes c6, and we're just getting crushed by the bishop. You can't take back with the pawn. So f4 is too weakening. Here. I don't like this, though, Mr. Coffee. Especially. I hate trading on c6 unless we absolutely have to. I guess it's not that bad. And then queen f6 was a weird move by move 11. Yeah, again, I mean, move 11 is not a d4 player. I mean, he doesn't have any practice, like, playing Queen's Gambit. I mean... This is very artificial, though. Queen f6 has to be a mistake. This is, like, maybe move 11's worst move. I don't know, man. Where are you going with queen f6? I would literally like turn to Ben Feingold and play f6 here. If I can do it. The Ben Feingold meme. Didn't move 11 mention f6 just a little while ago? Can we play f6? Look at your... Let's call up Max Uwe. Uber Driver, do you have his number? Uber Driver loves to call up the old school players, but the Dutch world champion, look at the pawn predominance in the center by black here. You gotta love that. What is that? What is that shape? Anyway, the squiggle. It looks like a turtle. Oh my god, it's a turtle. Look at it, his head over here, and that's his shell. And those are his legs. This is leg, head, shell. So you got a turtle. You can't crack the turtle. Absolutely not. Move 11 failed to establish a full turtle. You basically like put your queen on the turtle's back. Yeah, that's not good. I don't know what move 11 wanted to do here. He wanted to swing over to like attack like a maniac or something. Just control the e5 square. I mean, f6 is standard. Okay, what does computer say? f6 number 2. Yeah, f6 is top. This is a standard move. You guys need a masterclass with Rubinstein. Alright, queen f6, knight e5. Bam! Now Mr. Coffee is like in the zone. This is Mr. Coffee's position now. Move 11 is like, where am I? I thought I had a good game. Yeah, you have a good game. Lots of weaknesses all over here. Your queen is on f6 for no reason. White's sitting on e5 now. It just went from like good to horrible in one move. Here. Now Mr. Coffee decided to play c5. Yeah, he's got the majority, man. Totally dominating. It looks like an acerbate game with a push c5. Now I actually expected move 11 to play like with a5. He does that a little later. I don't think this is necessarily a good move. Maybe even f3 is a useful move for white. This is definitely a good move. So Mr. Coffee, I think, has like a strategically winning position here. But he's like, he says he has 1 minute left in 30 plus 30. Yeah, it's a strategically winning position. He has a queenside majority, blockade of black's protected pass pawn, and he has like bonus threats on the king side. The g5 pawn is weak. There's a break with h4, or maybe even f4. This is a totally winning position for white, but it's going to take some good play. That knight's not really going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. So Coffee goes with f4. It does give up the e4 square. For what it's worth, it might be safer to break with h4. Of course, black could just like take it, you know. You'd have to very carefully like prepare that. Get your Hoover out. The problem is, like, if you take with the bishop, black just takes over the a file. So, but what about this f4 pawn? Mr. Coffee went into like we stopped calculating mode. Alright, here, here. What about queen f2 first? Then f3, I guess. I don't really want to trade bishops. So this seems like an interesting position. He could like avoid exchanges, maybe bishop f1. This looks like a mistake, because you end up like trading off black's bad bishop. But I don't know what to recommend. I mean, if you play bishop f1, but I think Mr. Coffee never should have played f4. Basically, the lesson here would be practical chess. You know, if you're low on time, you don't like create complications. That's all there is to it, man. You know, f4 is a really like committal move. There's no reason for you to play that if you're in time pressure. If you don't have time to calculate the ramifications of this like properly, then just don't do it, you know. And the other possibility is g3. Did you put your king on the right square? Because when you play king h2, I'm not sure. Here, 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 here. Check. Maybe you should put your king on g3? Like, how's he gonna hurt you? I don't know. Maybe it helps that you're protecting f4. It's possible that it's a benefit. I don't know. Like, this might actually be a better square for the king. I'm not sure. Anyway, guys, I gotta hurry up. So, we're gonna go forward. Mr. Coffee lost control of the situation based on the clock. And look at that knight. It makes it to the miracle square on b5. Unbelievable. How did that get there? Move 11 was tricky. Yeah, he got control of the game. He managed to blockade, and nice defense by move 11. He was like a cobra. And now Black's king is suddenly... Uh-oh. So I wonder if there's anything here. Mr. Coffee... The knight is so far from the action, man. Do you have g5? Are you, like, winning after g5? Or draw, at least? You can't do g5? He has queen e4, trading queens. So this is my main idea, you know, getting in there. You can't do queen f7, no, but g5 you can do. Now you're threatening to, like, destroy him. So he's got a problem. I mean, he has to do something, like, now. Dude, maybe you're like, okay here. It looks like Black has to play queen e4. Otherwise he really gets mated. Everything's with check. This doesn't look good. I mean, queen check, and you're at least perpetual for white. So it's like he has to play this. And then you take, and what's going on? I don't like your bishop. But f6 is hanging. I mean, f7 is hanging. It looks like it's just about holdable. Wow. But you had better moves. So you don't have to panic. Wow. I thought you were really on the line here. But any kind of calm move like king g1 is okay. That's surprising. Yeah, I guess the problem is that the pawn looks strong. And then his knight is swinging in, like the way you lost the game. But you went in there with queen f6. This is probably a mistake. What about pawn takes? You have no open file. It's pretty horrible. You play like bishop h6, bishop g7, and then resign. Could you sack a rook on e6? Oh, this is some crazy idea I have. Which is like hypothetically. Here, like d3. No. Well, like here. It's just too slow. It would be nice, like this loses a pawn. So if he does something else, he just does that. Maybe you could get in there though, you know? Oh, he's just winning with d2, d1 now. So you're holding this. Wow. Black has to be accurate. Queen f6 pawn takes. Queen f6 is a mistake. You panicked in time pressure. And you're still okay. Now you're actually threatening b5 on the queen side. Damn. Wow, you're actually winning with b5. I mean, getting the queens off the board was a huge thing for white. And now I expected a draw. Move 11 exploited the time advantage. Man, he was winning again with b5. Turkey Farm got a gift sub for move 11. Yeah, move 11 was really hardcore in this game. But did Mr. Coffee miss bishop d8 check at some point? Like driving him back? Let's see. Here, you missed b5. But aside from that, like here, this bishop d8 check, it's no good. You're just losing the pawn on b4 now. Damn. Yeah, that's horrible. You're basically down a piece now. Move 11 relentlessly exploited his time pressure skills. Wow, amazingly it's still a draw. I had no idea about this ending. And this is a really interesting theoretical ending. That's why both of these guys probably submitted this game. Hello, Stripes is here. Stripes, the zebra. Welcome, Chess Zebra. You know, I didn't have time to think about this endgame. But Mr. Coffee really can't win. You know, even though he has 2 pawns and a bishop, his bishop's in a bad position. Normally, like, 2 pawns and a bishop would be as good as a rook. And maybe white would even be playing for a win, but the bishop is off sides. You might as well like just give up the b4 pawn, and that's what happened in the game. Check here. He has to like give it up eventually. You know, I don't like pushing the pawn though, necessarily. When you push your pawn to h4, you g4 weak. You g4 weak more. Mount weak more. So let's say like you don't do h4. How does this go? We just wait. We don't do g4. You know, and then we wait, and then the minute that he like sacks here, you know, then we're gonna do it. Now we're gonna do h4, and it's a draw. So how does black win? That's my question. You know, how does black win this? He could try to come in over here, but I still don't see how he's making progress. King f4. That's an annoying move. No, there's check. No, he can't make progress. So how is black making progress here? Maybe h6 or something funky? I don't see how black wins, you know. It looks like g4 or h4 loses. It looks like a game I would lose after having 1 hour of sleep and a really bad hangover. I would probably lose this position too, Mr. Coffee. It's like the game I lost in the Hungarian, or the Budapest Team Championship. I lost a totally drawn position. The only game I lost, really, in the last 6 months. Totally drawn. Yeah, this is tough, man. So h4. Once you weaken that pawn, I think you're gone. The plan involving rook where? a3 and rook takes a5. It's never going to work. There's too much decoy effect. He's better off just doing rook takes b4. Chess Zebra. But the pawns are too strong. These start rolling down and we draw. It's too much of a distraction. I don't think that black can win. I was also looking at king h4. You know, that's a curious move. But you might put yourself in a situation where you get zugzwang because your king has no squares. It's safer to go to g2. Yeah, this is a big mistake. And I doubt like move 11 played the best move. He played king back, but that doesn't make sense. He should come up and do what he did a little later. Well, the engine looks like it still can't find a win. King e4, king g2, rook takes b4. I can't believe this isn't winning. It's winning. It just can't see over the horizon. Yeah, h4 was a losing move. Or not? Are you lost anyway? So how does black win this? Please show me. No, 1.4 is a draw. It's going over the horizon. You want to try h5? Interesting concept. I don't think that's going to work. h5 is a draw. You can have all my pawns there. Man, I think this is a draw. Black can't win. He could put his king on h4 and get mated with bishop d8. That wouldn't be, that surprising. Alright guys, good game. So, Mr. Coffee, unfortunately, both these guys were low on time. Now it's over. Just the white square meltdown. Yeah. He lost all his pawns. It's really sad. Very sad. Okay. The horrible truth at the end there. Cormoran against Sumaher. This is Sumaher's big win from Tuesday's Rapid Tournament. Thanks for not submitting your draw against me. We'd have too many like Koli Kontanowskis for one stream. So Cormoran plays the English pretty well, though sometimes he goes too experimental. What happened the other day? Sumaher won the tournament. I played only 2 games. You have to say Sag instead of Sag. Yeah, they do that all the time. I got out my old like Poker Stars shirt that has my name on it the other day. Then we can like clarify my spelling. Yeah, this variation isn't that great for black, I think. So I think you ought to play like objectively like the open or c6. If you want to play a close with like bishop c5, that's okay. But knight c6, knight c3 is a bit of a problem. I don't really like the setup for black, personally. You can't get in d5, and he's like... Well, okay, I don't know. Bishop b4 allows knight d5. Wait, move 11 and I were... Was a different position we were looking at the other day? What were we looking at the other day? It was a different line, right? That was a different variation. Okay. So anyways, bishop c5. No, I mean, this is normal. It's okay. I did a video series on what? A different line? Knight f3 castles. Yeah, I analyzed knight takes c5 on my YouTube channel. It's an old video now. But no one plays this, I think, because it does force, some exchanges. I don't know. I like knight takes c5, it's more dynamic. But Magnus plays like castles here with white. Or played in the past. Although I wouldn't consider... Magnus's game isn't in there. I'm sure he has a game in this line. I think maybe the move order was slightly different. But I'm almost certain. I don't think e3 is good. Cormoran's not a tournament player, I don't think. He plays a lot of blitz, but he doesn't know that much book. So here he played e3. What am I like seeing? Knight f3 castles in e3. Okay, yeah. So that's a weird move. It's a weird combination of knight f3 and e3. I mean, normally you don't do that. There's only one Anton Giharo game. Is e4 anything? Is d5 anything? Schreiber Spieler. Well, rook e8 looks like a totally standard move. White will probably castle. But you still can't play e4 because you get hit by knight g5. Yeah, so this is like kind of routine as well. The question is, does black have any way to take advantage of e3? Rook e8 and a5 are both like, they're both like normal routine moves, as is d6. So I think the big question is like this kind of gambit. I don't know if it's like a gambit attempt. Or maybe we just recapture, we don't do anything fancy. I was looking at fancy stuff like that, but I guess it doesn't work. We just recapture, yeah. Yeah, I guess this is probably okay. Now he does knight takes e5. Yeah, I guess maybe a reasonable move. Yeah, objectively you should play d6 then. Prevent that from happening. So a5, this is a good move. With e3 he defended his f2. Takes and then d4. Yeah, I guess white's slightly better. If you play bishop d6, by the way, white can play c5. So it looks like white got the advantage out of the opening. Knight takes c4, d takes c5. I mean, it seems like this should be two bishops advantageous for white, probably, though the pawn's a little weak. Queen d4. Yeah, Sumahara's in a little pressure with that knight, so he moves it back. And then castles. Yeah, and yeah, Sumahara's got a bad position. I never get openings as good as this against you. You were really in trouble here. Turkey Farm's like, I like your style, Uber, but that ain't a King's Indian any way you look at it, bro. Rook e8, bishop f8. Everything transposes the King's Indian eventually. I do that in the Nimzo sometimes. I try to turn Nimzos into King's Indians. It's an old habit. Yeah, this looks bad for black now. A lot of weaknesses. Mule Skinner subscribed with Prime. We haven't gotten to the Mule Skinner game. We should do that next since he just arrived. Okay, take, rook d1. Yeah, maybe now white needs to be careful. This is open. So it seems to be like Cormoran's weakness that sometimes he's like just careless. He tries really hard when he has a bad position. He's really dangerous when he's concentrated. But I mean, white has to be extremely careful here with the white square. So probably like a prophylactic, you're getting hit by bishop takes. Yeah. Thanks for beating me to it. So, I was just gonna say, like, prophylactic. You know, you might have to play f3 with white. Speaking of Akibo Rubinstein. Yeah, the queen is on an inconvenient square in terms of that. Bishop takes h3 shot. But he's walking right into a very bad place here. So bishop g4 doesn't work because of queen d6. To be honest with you, I think that you gotta have something here. I want to play knight f3 check, but he'll just move his king. If he gives up the bishop, like, white has nothing. So, Sumahara just defended d6 instead. Now black is threatening bishop g4. And so white played knight d5, knight d5, bishop d5, and white's kind of out of the woods. Or not. He's not out of the woods because there's still this weakness. That's a problem. Yep. Man, white has to be careful here. I might even sack the exchange. Seriously, like b3. I think you could consider sacking the exchange. I mean, b3, bishop takes d1, queen takes d1, with two killer bishops. This is not unreasonable. But it's a clean exchange down. You don't even have a pawn for it. So, that's one option. Or like, I don't know what else to suggest. King g2. He goes here. He goes rook d2. And you played knight f3 check. Yeah. And now he has to take. And now material doesn't matter. You have c-file mates around his king. The fact that white has a better pawn structure doesn't matter that much. You can play f6. Now he needs to build the wall really quickly. Looks like f3 is essential. Build that wall. Donate to build the wall, guys. b3, no wall building. We should have built the wall. Told you guys. Queen e6. There's no wall. The Mexican migrants. Now there's time for a wall. Man. This is not so easy. Your rooks are badly placed here, Sumaher. Well, you have to build a wall too. Yeah, f6. Serbian border patrol. f6 is going to be necessary, man. f6 would have interfered with this rook transfer. Nice h5 attempt. Yes, and now you had to build the wall. Yeah, but honestly, like, the extra pawn doesn't matter that much. So he kind of chickened out and took with the queen. I mean, this is better structurally. And I think now it's probably a draw. I mean, white's up a pawn, but it doesn't mean that much here. It's a draw, man. You should just trade queens and take the file. Yeah, he even played the best defense, bishop c3, so it's really a draw now. a4. Although, yeah, you could have played a different move, actually. You had this. Oh, shit. You had rook there. No. Maybe you're better. You're actually seriously better after rook d3. Rook c1, rook takes f3, and this is hanging. And g3's hanging. No, I think white's fighting for a draw here after rook d3. This is a mistake. You made a big mistake there. You should have penetrated immediately with the rook. You're like a move too slow. Yeah, now it really is a draw. White played e5. I mean, this dude just... It's a draw. He should just be careful here. Like bishop e5, or what does he do? I don't know the easiest way to force a draw. He's up a pawn, he loses a pawn, and it's a draw. I mean, that's all there is. But this is kind of risky. Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. He was too desperate to win, I guess. You both had a ridiculous amount of time. This is crazy. White has 9 minutes and black has 8.5, and he's like playing e5 here. This is a clear draw. I mean, white has to ditch his extra pawn and just draw. And he plays that. It's like, it's totally crazy. Now he loses the f3 pawn, and he loses the g3 pawn. And you can contain that pawn with like check. I don't know if he was like trying to play e6 or what. You know, maybe he was trying to win, but it's not getting through, you know. White's never winning now. Only black can win. Like, objectively, you should probably like blockade here. Possibly take the pawn on b3, but I think he was trying to guard e3, so you don't have a check there. Trading rooks is a draw. And I don't know about this. This is a very complicated situation now. It looks like it's just time, but they have tons of time. Wow, you blundered rook takes f3, or not? Wow, he just missed bishop. He just missed rook takes f3. Yeah, well, I mean, oftentimes it's still a draw with connected passers. It depends on the position, right? What do you want to play? Maybe this is a win, I don't know. It looks like it might be winning. Yeah, rook c3 was not enough. He's still drawing with e6 apparently, or at least has chances. Yeah, you're right, Turkey Farm. I should mention that, but I'm kind of pressed for time. So yeah, even that is a likely possible win. Rook takes, bishop takes. If this, you have e6 check, and it is a draw. But it looks like black can maybe play g5, e6. Yeah, now we gotta watch f6. So here, this is very technical, but maybe it is a win. Yeah. Because there's a b pawn. If there's no b pawn, it's definitely lost. Yeah, I think you're winning. You're getting in, you know, the pawns. It's a win. True. But now he misses rook f3 draw. Anyway, it was sloppy. They're playing too fast, like it's a blitz game when they have lots of time on the clock. Now it's a draw because the pawn's pushed up to f3. It should be a draw. It's a blockade. Sleazy time win. Well, I don't like what white did with the situation here with his bishop. Like, he should play king f2. Keep the pawn blockaded with the king. If you attack the pawn on b4, he can put his bishop on a square like e7. If you attack the pawn on e5, you know, he can attack, defend it with like bishop e6. This should be a draw still. Yeah. It's a draw. Yeah, what not to do endgame. Yeah, white just played really fast. The king left the building. I think he was like trying to win with king up. It was like irrational. It's like irrational trying to win when you have no winning chances. Yeah, so Mule Skinner submission. I have 2 last games. It's really late, guys. I'm gonna try to be back, guys. 2 and girls, people parts. We thank you guys for the support tonight, by the way. We're gonna be streaming tomorrow morning for a blitz, and then maybe around 6:30 tomorrow night I'm gonna host another tournament. Let me just put it out there. Got really bad lag today. We have 7 takers. Special guest, Sloth. In honor of my increasingly slow style. Here's our link for tomorrow night's tournament. Pond and Sloth. Chess needs more sloths. Alright. Back to Mule Skinner. And 2 more games. I have to go through these a little bit more quickly. Mule Skinner says game 4. The 7 Deadly Sins tournament? Jonathan Rosen won't be there. He says game 4. Okay. So a straightforward game by Mule Skinner. Ooh. Alright, what did I do? I really should just use the arrow keys. It's much easier than clicking the mouse. I ought to do this more often. Yeah, what is Black doing? Black just played C what? Bad. It's a Caro-Kann French hybrid. The famous Franco-Kann. White just has a nice space advantage. Giving up the center. So it's just a Rubinstein where your bishop's basically ugly blocked in on c8. You know, objectively, I'm not sure that Mule Skinner shouldn't go for more. He didn't know what to do against the Tarash, so he played c6. Well, what is White supposed to do now? I mean, Bishop d3? I don't know. Bishop d3 sacks a pawn, right? Pawn sacks. He could take this. It's probably a good gambit for White, but you can't really blame Mule Skinner's play. That looks like kind of a weird move. Something Nigel Short would play. Here. So we transpose to some games. I mean, honestly, like c3 looks very safe. Maybe I wish we castled queenside. Right. Yeah, bishop c2 is good. So Black's not such an idiot. You know, he played this weird opening, but he understands how he needs to mobilize his pieces. I like this setup for White, though. It's like a queen-pawn game, almost. Clearly Black can't castle queenside. I mean, that's crazy. So what if he plays c5, he gets bishop a4 check. So he has to castle. And now the Stonewall attack. Oof. And that's game over. Wow, the minute he castled, he was lost. Unbelievable. I said he has to castle, and then he's lost. Castling queenside loses, castling kingside loses. So all bets are off. Uber driver, what do you recommend? Just not castling? Does he have knight d7? I would recommend knight d7, but I don't think that's going to work. Man. So here. This is a very strong move because it prevents knight d7. If Black had time to play knight d7, he might survive. Like if White did the routine rook e1, maybe knight d7. Or also obviously c5, but no, it's not going to work. If c5, although that's better than what happened in the game, right? Wait. Let's think about it logically. Queen f3, queen c7, and I said rook e1 and c5 is bad, right? Because of bishop a4 check. But anything's better than what happened in the game. This is like a masterpiece compared to that. Let's play king f8. It's still not good. And your computer, you know, is going to kill anybody here. This is really, really going to get annihilated. Black is going to get annihilated. But our queen is hanging. Jeez, no. The queen is hanging. Thank you for reminding me. Like that. That. Yeah, I mean, this is the best we're going to do. It doesn't look good. But it's probably better than what happened in the game. He has to fight for e5 before castling. Fight for e5. Maybe bishop on d6. Well, obviously his move bishop e7 is weak, you know. But even castling queenside, yeah, it loses f7. Yeah, like UberDriver suggesting rook f8 with the idea of castling queenside. But I mean, everything is bad here. This is just mated. It's mated. Now here it's kind of a weird position. I mean, bishop g5 or bishop f4 or knight g4, what's the best move? Knight g4 looks like a really strong threat. How does he defend against knight g4? Only g6. I mean, bishop g5 is the most natural. That's gotta be the best. We're just starting to win directly. So he has to play g6 and then like queen h4. I mean, it looks terrible for black. Or even this. There's possible double piece sacrifices coming up on g6. Rook lifts. It's got to be bishop g5. He played this instead, which is also good. Queen c8. Knight g4 now, g6. And ouch. And maybe if there's rook e3, there'll be a queen sack. Yeah, this looks awfully familiar. I saw something like this today in my travels. Asterbate and I looked at something very, very similar, where you just build up everything on the same color complex. Dark square color complex. Very nice. Yeah, beautiful game. And now all the pieces. There's that dark square coordination. All we need now is like that, man. Gotta take off anyway. You're welcome, Turkey Farm. Thanks for being a subscriber. Very beautiful mate here now. Final move. Unexpected. Rook takes f6, king h7, and then queen h5 mate. Well, it's not mate, but it will be. Queen h5 check. Gotta move the king. And I guess, what's the most beautiful way to do this? Rook takes g6. Routine. And then mate. Am I missing something? There's no faster mate, right? There's no mate in 1. Mate in 2 we'll have to settle for. Okay, that was an easy one for Mule Skinner. And now our last game for today. Lakey. Lakey. My name is Heiki. Alright, very straightforward game there. Heiki is next. You guys actually see that? I was on like a different board. Alright. Last game for tonight. Learn, study, my studies. Lakey submitted... Shaky Lakey. Alright, this is... Wow. This was like a perfect game by Black. Virtually perfect game. Here we go again. I'm getting... Alright. My L key, I think. It's my keyboard. Lakey 1611 playing against 1521. It's a standard classical game. Looks like 30 plus. 30 plus 20. Same as Arsenal's opening. But white played knight g5. That's definitely not good. It doesn't make sense having played the like quiet d3 to play knight g5. So you just castle. I guess theoretically, really white ought to like get in f4 if it's possible, and then the knight will be able to come back, and white will get influence in the center like a king's gambit. Maybe this doesn't work tactically somehow. I mean, obviously you can like bust black in the center with d5. That's probably the answer. Just saying. You could also take, but that enables white's development slightly. You could take and hit him with d5. Alternatively. Everything looks good. Castles, and then white played castles. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the knight is out there prematurely. But if we go here, you could get in trouble. If you go here too early, you could really get into like a weird fried liver type thing. Queen h5. Hamducci actually played this. Moroccan grandmaster. Yeah, black has to be a little careful. Though h6 looks totally valid. h6 has to be okay. I think that's the like simplest thing to do. There's a game with d6, but Lakey did d5. Okay, so this is dangerous. Now knight c3. Oh, we looked at this position. My God, this happened the other day. Inkiyov taught Bela. So you lose if you play knight takes c3, right? Knight takes c3 loses. This exact position was in our analysis a couple weeks ago, or last week. Lyle lost this position. He played knight takes c3. It's a player from... an English player who lives here in Budapest. He's been playing here for years. Taught Bela ain't gonna fall for knight takes c3. Man. Yeah, so it's like, it's dangerous to play d5. You shouldn't do that. Just play h6 or d6. But unbelievable. So Christiansen played this, and Lyle blundered knight to c3, and then queen h5 was like game over. This is game over. So, nothing you can do. I think it's just lost. Classic trap. The Toth Bela just like brought his knight back to f6, which is sensible. He's a Petrov. He was a Petrov player. It was a Joko. A quiet Joko piano, but a weird knight g5. I think that black also should just play h6, you know? I mean, this is fine. h6, this is bad. So you have to play like knight f3, and then d6, and you're just like a tempo up in a normal Vienna. Threatening knight a5, among other things. h6 is a useful move for black, stopping bishop g5. So d5 is bad. And then, so this is a new move, queen f3. Interesting. d5's hanging, so you have to do something. But basically, I don't get it. This is not good. But I guess the Totbela method is okay. You can play knight f6. Wait, bishop g4? What? Well, he didn't probably see bishop g4. No, bishop g4 is a good move. Obviously white can play maybe queen d2. That interferes with white's coordination. But if you notice that the game, like the Lyle game, didn't happen by this move order. You know, that was a different move order. It's a transposition. So like, you know, Stefan Christiansen didn't allow bishop g4. This happened by another order of moves. Those games happened by a different order of moves. But it was possible in this game, yes. Uber Driver is right. Bishop g4 is a good move. White has to move either queen e1 or queen d2. That would mess up white's coordination. So queen f3, knight f6 is safe. This though, now so the question is this. Can we trap the knight in the corner? Holy shit. Wow, so it's sound. Knight takes f7. Rook takes f7. An unbelievable position. Wow. Look at this. Bishop e3. That is crazy. And you have time. What an amazing sequence. That's amazing. He could have saved himself. Wow. But who would see that? Who would see like bishop e3? What an amazing resource. Knight f7, rook f7, bishop e3, double exclamation point, saving the game. If here we have time to just lose like a piece or the exchange. That's a really unique position. Instead, white retreated passively. And now black is just better. White has no center. Yeah, b4 is a bad move, weakening. Black played very fundamentally. Maybe just like rook d8 here. Or even knight f4 looks strong. And then he hung the c3 pawn. Yeah, that's the game. No compensation. Clear pawn down. And now he's pinned. And that's another blunder. I mean, the only move is knight b3. And now we're just down a clear exchange. No defense. Good game. Good game, but very interesting opening. And we're going to win with the passers up the exchange. No problem. But I did notice that black had very low mistakes in this game. Alright, congratulations. Anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Very tired. It's been a long week. Tough games. I'm going to do a raid here with the Mustache Show. Send some viewers over his way. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow morning. Stay tuned for Art Vega.